Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
James Farley.
Hello.
And Sean Bell.
Hello.
We're going to start the show by introducing to you our Full Nels crew, the Patreon producers for this month. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuits, Trans Rights and Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Happy Birthday Sam and Neil, Gabsy, Rocketman76, Rex Reese, Happy New Year Sam, Love from Neil, Grey Dragon Claw, Fred Fenge, Smooth Monkey, Happy Mother's Day Sam, Love from Dr. Farley's Sexy Fan, Don Whiskerando, friend of the show, and Sam. They all went full Nels, and I said that right at the start of the show because I don't know if you've noticed, I don't know if my voice is going to be around for the full show.
I was going to say, what's going on?
We got a live show in like 4 days.
It's very croaky, isn't it?
Get on the echinacea, mate. What's going on?
I was ill over the weekend, Sean.
Oh, mate.
Very ill over the weekend, which I saw as a blessing in disguise because I was thinking, oh my God, I don't want to be ill at TCGScon. So when I was ill like a week before, I'm like, yes, I'm going to be fine next week.
I had the exact same thing. I felt really shit on Friday and I was like, this is awful, but what are the odds of being ill twice in 6 weeks in a row?
It's not going to happen. So like, this is the end of the illness, I think. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow, my voice might still be a little bit bad. Thursday, classic David Turner's voice.
Yeah, mate.
Back Pure with velvet.
You. The velvet voice of David Turner that you've grown to love. Yeah? It's
and then when you turn up on Friday, we'll give you fucking karate chops to the neck.
Yeah. What, out of jealousy?
Yeah. Bring you down to our level, mate.
Yeah, everyone wants more gravel in that voice.
Yeah. What? You don't have it in you. Please, if you would like to support... If you would like to support us, go to patreon.com/TCGS. Various different tiers. This week we've released our bonus show, a podcast where we just had a good old chat, didn't we? Amongst ourselves. And then we got Chen on the show and quizzed her about James's behaviour. So if you want to hear that, there's more of Chen Farley slagging off James Farley for you there for our Patreon subscribers.
She loves it.
It's just yeah, you can kind of tell from her voice she's just sick of it, but also great to get off her chest, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of therapy for Chen there.
We also started Le Tournoi.
Oh my God.
We will not spoil that. We'll talk about that openly when it's available to the general public.
I mean, there have already been tweets.
Yeah, tweets.
Yeah, don't fucking do that.
And we got a telling off from
early.
We got telling off from Colin Ross Wilson.
Yeah, good.
Well, I don't think he's even an 850 patron, so it doesn't really matter.
I mean, in my defence...
Then, Colin. Mind your own business then, Colin.
In my defence, I only talked about me. I didn't talk about other positions in table. So
that's true. But I'm not going to throw James under the bus, because although he tweeted it, I did retweet it. Oh. So I'm just as culpable.
Right, okay, so we're just saying that people now know that Matt finished last, because I don't think that's a spoiler.
Well, yeah. So that's what I tweeted, and I was
right. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's not a spoiler then, is it? So because people just expect that, that's fine. Right. Okay.
Such a prick.
There's one TCGScon ticket left. One. There's only one left. Someone just buy it. Then we're sold out.
I took it out of the document.
Why?
I was like, well, it's happening in like 3 days. Like,
I know, but don't you just want to sell that last one?
I mean, I do, but...
You want to put up that sign saying sold out.
Sold out.
You literally can't buy a ticket for it.
Can we put the cost up?
Yeah.
Because it's rare now. It's hard to get hold of.
Should we say sold out, and then on Thursday say, we've just released another 200 tickets. Anyway. So you could go that tcgs.co/TCGScon. I think that's correct. Pride merch finishes Thursday. You got one more day. Get your Pride merch in, Matt.
Yeah, so I guess 2 days if you're listening to us on Wednesday. But yeah, Pride merch ends on Thursday. All proceeds are going to mermaids. They've been helping gender diverse kids and their families since 1995, so there's a whole long time. If you want to learn more about mermaids, go to mermaidsuk.org.uk. But yeah, all proceeds from these t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, sweatshirts, they're all going to go to mermaids. So go over there and get some lovely merch.
Cool. And that's it. We could get on with the show. Before we get to the feedback, Matt, I did have some notes because although I wasn't on the show last week because Charlie was in hospital, but I thought I'd better take notes regardless because James, pulled me up on it the last time I was off for horrible
quite right too.
reasons.
It's good.
So I thought Charlie was on the...
Dave, I'm glad you're taking this seriously now.
Okay.
It's good that you're stepping up,
I'm proud of David.
My first note is Matt saying that all of our names were attached to the GIF of James, but only his was tagged onto it. Matt is absolutely lying here. Everyone who raised it said it just had James and Matt's names on it.
No, if you listened, if you go to Giphy or Tenor, every one of our names is attached to that GIF.
That's not what people were saying.
I said I don't know how it came up on Twitter. I don't know how. That's just the auto one. I can't control that. All we can control is every one of our names.
Just convenience that the two James Farley tweets that we want to go viral, for some reason on Twitter, they only have James and you.
I mean, I wouldn't put me. I would put TCGS, surely.
You absolutely would put you. Of course you would.
Why? No, that's the worst thing forever. I want, there's no mention of TCGS in that at all. It's rubbish.
That's the worst thing forever.
It's the worst thing forever.
That's not the thing I would do. And also, I can't control that because I'm literally auto-generated from Twitter.
You
go to Giphy and you'll see every one of our names attached to the GIF.
Just hold your hands up and go, all right, I got caught. Trying to jump on the meme train.
Adding some automatically generated tags which I can't control.
Yeah, but you're saying
how
that
the fuck
bit.
did I get caught out, David? Tell me that.
I'm saying that bit's not true. I'm saying...
David, tell me how you edit some automatically generated tags. Tell me now, go on.
I don't know. I've never done it, Matt.
Well, because it's not possible.
Right, okay. Well,
if people post this GIF, right, just decide to actually write a descriptive alt text, which is what it's for, and not rely on the automatic one, then that'll be good for everyone.
Descriptive alt text?
Sorry?
Who's writing the descriptive alt text?
Well, you can write your own, or it's just automatically generated, I guess. I don't know how.
So it's somehow automatically generated your name into that GIF. I'm confused.
I can't control it. All I can say is every single one of the GIFs on Giphy and Tenor is tagged with every one of our names and TCGS and the computer game show and TCGS Go and gaming podcast and all that kind of shit.
But the only things that come through are James Farley and Matt Murray.
I'm quite happy for my name to be removed from these.
Me too. I actually would like TCGS, TCGS Co, something else.
Sure.
It's pointless.
Sure. Also, I did pick up on something on the show last week, and I did want to play you a clip because none of you seem to have realised that it happened. But James, I mean, obviously it's no surprise, but James really wanted the show to end last week, and no one reacted. See if you can notice James in the background of this clip trying to end the show. Ready? And it wasn't like a convenient time to say it. It wasn't like a bit of banter that was like slipped into some banter. You were having a genuine little chat, and James tries to end the show. Listen to this.
Animation's even really popular thing these days.
They're not so much anymore.
It feels like you don't really see them as much.
No.
I bet there's loads in that TMNT game.
Probably is, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Scott Pilgrim game had them. That game was 10 years ago. That's probably not anything to base it on, but yeah. There's definitely games like.
Did you hear that?
Like some first-person shooters.
I couldn't quite make out what he said.
He said, "Can we have the socials, Matt?" You were having a genuine conversation about animation in games, and James was in the background. Can we have the socials, Matt? James, what is the matter with you?
Absolutely shocking.
That didn't go down as I thought it was going to. And
what did you think? Everyone was going to go, ha ha, James Farley.
I don't know, really.
Chat. You've interrupted with, can we end now?
Yeah.
I want to go to bed.
Yeah, it didn't work. I'm sorry.
And those were my notes. Should we get to the feedback, Matt?
Yeah, let's. We've got some feedback here from a couple of weeks ago, which you didn't read last week because it's about the layout of gamepad buttons, and you weren't here. So Let's go. Coruscate. I'd like to take issue with David's argument for standardization of gamepad buttons. In the West, we read left to right, but in Japan, they read right to left. I presume this is why Nintendo buttons are the way round that they are, and that Microsoft's pad buttons are the same letters but reversed. I can't be bothered to research who used X, Y, A, B on their buttons first, but it's probably Nintendo, I reckon. Peace, y'all. Should I read the next controller one and then we can have a bigger conversation?
No, I'll just that.
Okay.
So yeah, I know that in Japan they read right to left, but I'm in the West. So if I wanted in my fantasy scenario where everything was standardized, I'd rather do it the way that I read and not the way they read in Japan. I don't know why I would choose it that way. Is that not right?
I think you're an absolute monster.
Why have you got quiet? Well, did you say
because
Jesus?
We're all too shocked.
Why is that shocking?
Just leave it the way it is.
Just continue. Go on.
I would like to standardise it, and if I'm doing it, I'd like to do it the way that I like to do it.
Basically, Dave, without getting into like really over the top accusations, the thing is, a lot of the world has been standardised for us. Like,
but Sean,
be like, this is another thing they should fix for white Western men.
oh, fuck you! Fuck off! That's so ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Destroying the earth.
I think everything should be like it is for me.
Yeah. do you know what this all stems from? This all stems from playing Card Shark, where it is full of QuickTime events, and it would say press A. Yeah. And for a split second, I went, which one's A on this one? And that was it. But in my fantasy scenario, where I'm going, wouldn't it be great if all the pads had all the buttons in the same thing, right? Yeah. Why would I then go, actually, no, actually, let's do it the Japanese way. Like, I'm not going to do that, am I? Clearly. Go on.
Just appreciate the differences. Okay, Hakon Lingstad is next. There are as many reasons to standardise specifically around the Xbox or Nintendo controller as there are reasons to standardise around either driving on the left or the right side of the road. In other words, none for any of the two over the other. Back when I used to play almost exclusively on Xbox, I used to struggle with changing to Nintendo at my friend's house or whatever. After the 3DS and Wii U, however, which both had the same number of buttons, I just subconsciously adapted to the controller based on what system I'm playing, even though I barely play with a 360 controller since the 360. I don't know anyone else who has this problem. This is not meant as an insult, but maybe David's brain just works a little differently. You got that right, Hakon.
I mean, possibly.
With the one hand on the joystick, Hakon Lingstad.
You've never had a situation where you've gone from Nintendo to Xbox and it's come up like with a QuickTime event saying press A and then or X or whatever, and you press the wrong one. I'm literally the only one that's had that problem.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever driven on the right side of the road?
Do you know what? I haven't. I've never driven abroad before.
Okay.
I reckon I'll fucking struggle with that as well.
Yeah, same. I would not like that.
Why can't it all just be on the left? Like, just like I'm used to. It should be like that everywhere.
Yeah, that would be great, right? Because then you wouldn't have to worry about what side of the road you're driving.
You just drive on the other side of the road, it's fine.
Okay, all right, James. All right, you cool dude, you could drive whatever side of the road you want, no matter where you are.
And he does.
I haven't got that, James.
You have to obey local laws.
I haven't got that, James, in me. I've not got it in me, all right?
Okay.
Go on. I was going to say, I definitely do get X and Y mixed up. A and B I'm all right with, because they're so frequently like the yes and no buttons. So like it's quite even by just being in the menus, that sort of sets me up. Whereas X and Y, not so much.
Well, don't express that view on this podcast, all right, Sean? Because you get yourself into hot water.
There's nothing wrong with saying you get mixed up. It's just insisting that everything should be the same because you like it that way.
I said, wouldn't it be good? Wouldn't it be good if it was all the same? If we all just always in it together. Not all of us are as well-travelled as you, James. Not all of us have had that opportunity in life to just go places, yeah? It was me. It was fucking here in Menorca. That was it. Go on,
David,
next.
It wasn't a suggestion. You said privately to me that you wanted to start a petition.
I did, but I didn't get enough signatures.
Yeah, you didn't get 100,000 signatures for them to discuss it in government.
Discuss it in Parliament, no.
Yeah. He's got an addendum. Nintendo has always used the same pattern, David. N64 only had the A and B, A on the left, B on the right, just like the NES. GameCube diverted by making the A button a central button with the others surrounding it, and by looking at it like it was designed by Pablo Picasso. From Wii onwards, the 4-button layout is the same as all the other ones. I have nothing but love for you, but that was infuriating.
Okay,
that's
right. Well, look at the N64 pad. The A is the bottom button on that pad. So I don't know what it's all about. Go on. Yeah. Okay, yeah, A's the bottom, and then B's left, and then you got C buttons on the right hand side.
Blimey.
Cool. Go okay, Don Riscarando. First of all, thank you, Sean, for getting my name right during the Full Nels roll call. David had 2 tries and fucked it both times.
Did I really? What did you say? How did you do it, Sean?
I said Don Riscarando.
Rando, right. I've been saying Rando, so Matt's just fucked it.
Well, no, that's a north and south thing, isn't it? I mean, Rando.
Well, no, I don't think there's a north and south thing when it comes to his name, is it?
I mean, I don't think it's a real name.
But I don't think, is that a north and south thing? Because if you're saying, like, I'd say Randy, I wouldn't say Randy. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I read it as Whiskerando. But whatever.
If that isn't a real name, can we call you Don Randy from now on?
Well, it gets better. So I've Googled it. So it's not a name or even a word. However, you can spell it with a WH, Whiskerando, which means a man with extravagant whiskers.
Oh, there we go.
Now we know.
There we go.
Well, yeah, so Dave fucked it both times like a twat. Second, I can't believe my ears when I heard you...
You fucked it in the same way, Matt. What are you talking about?
It wasn't No, you fucked it way worse than... Can we move on?
No, you said the same thing that I did.
I said Whiskerando. You like Whiskey Randy. It didn't... Just listen back.
Dave fucked it like a twat. That's not in the email, listeners. That's Matt's opinion coming through there.
Okay.
Let's just wait until you misfumble your words, Matt.
Oh, well, I mean, that's every word I say. I shouldn't be allowed on podcast, basically, so I'm looking forward to the feedback. Second, I couldn't believe my ears when I heard you all discussing TMNT and you said you never read any of the comics. I urge you to track down the 4-issue crossover they did with the greatest hero of our age, the Flaming Carrot. It has thrills, spills, umpires, and a weird alien conspiracy. I love listening every week, so keep up the good work, chaps. And that's from Don Whiskerando.
Brilliant. You fucked it there, Matt. Like a twat. The Flaming Carrot.
Yeah, news to me.
What does that look like?
Sounds good, though.
Oh, right, okay. It's a carrot, but instead of the leaves at the top, it's fire.
It's fire.
Pure flame.
And it's got the body. So the carrot is just the head.
Yeah, it's true. It's got a rather fetching
The only Turtles comic I've read is, I've only read one of them, but The Last Ronin, because it looked great. But that's basically a kind of Turtles, but samurai. Mm-hmm. And that was awesome. I've only read like the first issue of that, so I assume that goes on for ages.
Turtles, but samurai?
Yeah, it's called The Last Ronin.
Based on that.
Oh, well, yeah,
they're ninja, aren't
they? Yeah, well...
Hero, isn't it? So what is Flaming Carrot's like? It just sees in the dark. But then surely that's just... The flame helps that anyway. The flame and the carrot see in the dark really well, can't you?
Yeah.
Well done, Flaming Carrot.
Just add a torch in there and you've got a trifecta of light.
That was all bollocks. Move on.
What was all bollocks?
The carrot's making your eyes see better.
What?
It was probably not true in the Second World War.
Yep.
Oh, fuck off, James. My mum said that. My mum told me about it. Go on, next.
Okay, Conky Donker. As a person that isn't able to make the live show, I would love to see a My Name is X and this is my first/last drink of the night compilation, as is doing the rounds on social media for the team and attendees. Thank you, and I hope TCGScon gets big enough to main event E3.
I love the idea of that. I have not got the brain capacity to think about everything we've got going on that day and also doing that.
Yeah.
I can say now, let's do that. It won't happen.
It'd be very funny to do it, if only because when we get to like the last drink ones, obviously it'd be everyone being absolutely fucked, and then me in my hotel room in my dressing gown with a glass of milk. Be like, cheers.
Yeah. No. This is my second pint of the night.
I'm going to a wedding soon. Every time I start talking about weddings on this show, I'm nervous in case I'm blowing a secret. But no, everyone knows about the wedding. And I said, we should do that thing. And they're like, great, Matt, you're doing that now. So now that's what I'm doing for the wedding. I'm going to have to video over and say my name is, and this is my first/last drink.
Nice.
So
what a shit job.
Basically, I think they've got other things as well. It's It's job central over there. Right,
just tell him that you're not doing it. No, I'm not doing that.
I'm not going to do that.
That's an awful thing to do. You've got to track down everyone and take that video.
I won't track down everyone at the end because...
I was going to say, it's the end that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it starts easy. Yeah. Maybe I'll say, I'll do the start. And...
No, mate, you say, I'm not doing that. You get there and say, sorry, I'm not doing that.
I wouldn't do
my
that.
Night.
I absolutely wouldn't do it in a billion years. I'll do it as much as I'll just try as hard as I can.
I just imagine you walking around like late at night going, has anyone seen Robbo? Has anyone...
Where's big Robbo?
Where's Robbo and the Grinch?
I would put my foot down, Matt. I mean, Dave knows how I feel about having to do jobs at the end of a wedding.
Yeah, aka driving.
Yeah, walking around with that fucking ironing board.
Oh shit, that was it. Yeah.
Fuck my life.
Surf's up.
Yeah, I think he heard that from about eight different people that night.
Yeah, well, it's a great gag. So
lost my sense of humour about it after the fourth.
Oh dear.
Go on, then we done.
Okay, Rex Reese. Any chance Chen can stand in for James on a regular basis? I love James, but Chen made me belly laugh so much. Biggest laugh I've had since Tiny Pocket Nintendo Man.
Now, I read this and I got confused. Does he mean the Mini Chief?
Yeah, he thinks the Mini Chief, yeah.
Oh, hello. David is back.
I got a new one for you. Speaking of mini consoles, you know I was slating the Mini Mega Drive the other day? I did get confused with the mini PlayStation. That was the disaster one, wasn't it?
Easily done.
Yeah.
It was a bit rubbish, wasn't it?
But also, the earlier Mega Drives weren't too great either. It's just the Sega
they had a whole phase, didn't they,
ones.
where they just sort of handing the license out to anyone who.
They got like a handheld.
They were terrible.
That looks like a Lynx. It's really weird. Okay.
Like a big cat.
Like a big cat.
Cool. That's it for feedback. If you want to leave us feedback or question, go to tcgs.co/deartcgs.
James Farley in the house. He's got news for us.
There's a lot of news.
I'm looking forward to it.
There's a lot of news.
Go on.
Anyway, PlayStation Plus relaunched this week. Did you all get emails and stuff about it?
Yeah, I did. Can I ask a question about that, which I should, I should have asked off air. You know that little thing where they're like, oh, here's how much it'll cost to upgrade. How long does that go on for?
I mean, there's a date next to that. Mine, if I...
No, I mean, how long would they give you that offer for?
It's not offer,
think as long
it's just
as
making
you
up the
already
price.
Have an
right, okay, fine. Okay, cool. Because I was thinking, just do it when I get paid. Sorry, go on. The listeners didn't need to hear that bit.
Some life admin there.
Yep.
A reminder. Payday. Subscribe to new PlayStation Plus. Which is what, James?
So they had the relaunch this was it last week? It was last week. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
same Tuesday.
They've exceeded the number of games that they promised that there was going to be, like with the catalogue. So, I've got to eat my words. You know, this
is brilliant, listeners. This is brilliant.
You know, it has turned out that there was a lot more games than we anticipated because there was a lot more than there were in Asia at launch, and so they did bring some more. So,
but why is that significant?
Because we had a go at some listeners for suggesting that may be the case when we were a lot more pessimistic about it.
Really, hang on, as smug as you could be. Go on.
No, I think we didn't have a go at some listeners. We just made the point that we were commenting on the list that was given to us at the time.
I don't know.
Yeah, but then we did kind of like speculated that this would almost certainly be the list as well for Europe as well.
Okay.
Because
also, you laughed a lot at that guy's email when you read it out.
That's
so
true.
Might be true.
And he sent some really hateful DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and voicemails.
And you got a tattoo with fuck that guy.
And you're outside the house with a big sign saying, you massive twat.
never 700 games in a million years.
Idiot. Just get the
700 over my dead body.
Yeah.
Now look, how many are there, James?
Quite a lot. So
how many?
Eurogamers
have a number, please.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 400. Okay, no, because
just
it depends.
read the headline. It's in the headline.
No, it's not, because it depends on how you add it up, Matt. It's not as simple as that.
What?
No. Okay, this is what is going to be.
It depends how you add it up.
Yes, let me explain why. Okay, so up to 740 expected, right?
Okay, so
expected. Okay.
But
that's what's going on.
But, okay, that is what's in the list. But the thing is that also people have found that you can find other games by searching for them that are not in the lists. The whole thing is awful, like in terms of organisation. It's ridiculous. Let me explain. So, there's for the PS4 and PS5 games available, there's 429. And from the list of retro games at the moment is 404. Okay.
Why does it sound like you're sweating and you just loosened up your tie and you're like trying to find a way out of this?
No, because this is really confusing and really annoying because it's such a mess. The whole interface for this is a complete mess. Because what it is that, as I said, people have been searching for games that they thought were on the service, and then it turns out they're not if you go in the catalogue, but then if you search for them, you can find them anyway. And it all doesn't work properly, basically. This is the problem. And then there's a whole separate problem with the PC version of the PlayStation Plus app, whereby it displays some of the titles like incorrectly so that they're not accessible. So what happens is apparently there's a whole bunch of PS1, PS2 and PS4 games that are listed as PS3 games, which means you can't load them on like PC. You see, there's just lots of stuff like this. There's just games that appear to be missing.
Any of that.
I know, exactly. This is the thing. The main complaint that there's been about this service so far is, it's great that there's a lot of games here. Like, there's way more than we thought that there was going to be. That's really good. And there's
way more than you thought there was.
Okay, there's way more than I thought there was going to be. There's a lot of games on here, but it is also not very well organised at all. Like, it's pretty terribly organised.
Although we may have been wrong about that one element of it, it's still bad for a load of other reasons.
Yeah, we were still bang on about the fact that it seems to have been quite lazily put together. In sense of, it's not all there. It seems to be... I mean...
I think it is there. In fact, if anything, there's too much there.
Yeah, although there's also... I mean, like, if you look at, like, the PS1 games, for example, there's hardly any there. Like, it's a tiny, tiny selection of, like, PS1 games that are available, like, for the retro stuff. And it also, if you go into the Explore section...
What sort of quality are we talking?
What, for PS1 games?
Yeah.
I know Tekken 2 is one of them.
Parappa?
No, that's not on there. It's... I'd have to look at the list. I haven't got the list to hand.
Music creation game or whatever?
No.
Is Cooler World on there?
Unfortunately not, no.
Destruction Derby. Fucking hell.
I mean, hang on, let's have a look. I've got the list here.
It's funny if we just keep saying names.
I'm sure, as we mentioned before, I haven't got an email, and I got an email, and it's only like 20 quid to upgrade, so I haven't really had time with all the stuff going on, but I definitely want to give it going for 20 quid.
Pandemonium.
Okay,
I'll definitely upgrade.
I've got the full list here. So there's
Pandemonium on there?
No, you got Ape Escape, Hot Shots Golf, IQ Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Mr. Driller, Oddworld, Resident Evil Director's Cut.
It was more fun when we were just guessing.
It has got Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue.
Oh, so that's all right, I might go PS5.
Oh, and there's also two separate Worms games as well. There's Worms Armageddon and Worms World Party.
Sean will love that. Do you remember when you tried to get us all to play that Worms game? Never forgiven you for that, Sean.
Yeah, I didn't really.
Always been angry at you about that.
That was a low point, wasn't it?
Well, it's fun when I play it with my real friends.
with a real crew.
Yeah. I mean, got one of them. I'm like James. Got secret friends that you don't know anything about.
Cool. I keep forgetting about James's secret friends.
Yeah.
Every Friday you see him log in and he's playing some shit no one's heard of.
Because it allows four people.
Players. God, James.
So the thing is ideally, I've forgotten what I was going to say. That's really annoying. No, you put me off.
That's not ideal at all.
That's not ideal.
That's the opposite of ideal.
That's the worst thing ever, isn't it?
No, I know what I was going to say. Okay.
Ideally, I have no idea what I'm saying.
Can I just? Are we all a bit tired? I'm a bit tired, and I feel like I was thinking. I hope I can just coast a bit tonight.
Sean, I think James is crying.
Anyway, ideally, what's going to happen is that they'll keep adding stuff to this, like in terms of the classic games over time.
Fingers crossed, though.
Because that's what's hopefully going to happen. But James, Wonderworld is on there now, so that's good.
Oh, good.
What's top of your list for PS1 games? Hold on. What's top of your list for... Hold on, James. What's top of your list for PS1 game? Come on.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind playing like original Silent Hill again.
Yeah, original Silent Hill.
Yeah.
That's not on there.
Nope.
Fucking hell. Okay.
No,
all right.
That's not there. Yeah.
James, when you say retro, what, are you defining as anything PS3 and below?
Yes.
Or,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, PS3 and below.
Is PS3 retro now?
Yeah, I think it counts as that,
yeah, Jesus. So 360 PS3 is now retro.
Yeah.
So is it 2 generations back?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. I'm just going to write that down.
Okay.
Yeah.
One for the wiki.
You can hear it getting written. It's a good thing though, James. Again, when titles get added to the service, they're obviously on the service for a long time, so you don't have to race really quickly to finish these games.
I mean, it's funny you say that, Matt. I mean, they've also discovered that some PlayStation Plus games have already got expiry dates.
Oh, really?
Yes, which is quite interesting. So
it's like bread.
There's a couple that are already listed as last chance to play.
Always reach to the back of the shelf, Matt.
Yeah,
never take the ones
I'm
at
not
the front.
Stupid, yeah.
You get a good couple of days out of the ones at the back.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
Sorry, James.
Yeah, so there's already 2 games that are being listed as last chance to play, and that's Shadow Warrior 3 and Siberia. And
oh no! I wanted to play that one.
Fuck! I was going to get back into streaming and I was going to do the Siberia series. What's the fucking point, Sony? I love that. I've just subscribed day one. What do you mean last chance to play? I've just subscribed it.
James, can you do me a favour?
Go on.
Roll with the punches a bit.
What do you mean?
Let's roll with the punches. Come on, mate.
You'll get more out of it that way.
I was just letting you do your shtick, and then I was going to continue.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's weird that you sound like a tape that we're just pausing to talk.
No, because you listen. I say something, you have some hilarious fun with it, and then I continue.
Jesus, man, that's the nicest thing you've ever said about me. Okay, go on.
You're talking to me.
Hit play.
So anyway, these games. Okay, it's not just those ones, but there's also a bunch of other ones, but they're not expiring yet. They've got longer, like Red Dead Redemption 2 that expires on the 20th of September. And this year, which is a bit of a shame. So this is weird. But the reason
it's a bit of a shame. But I mean, it's no different to.
I was going to say this happens everywhere.
Same thing happens with Game Pass, isn't it?
The reason is because these games, the ones that are expiring relatively soon, they're ones that were added to PlayStation Now recently.
Right, yeah.
So I mean, this whole thing is basically PlayStation Now, and it's just they've just rebadged it. It's what's happened, and so that's why.
Okay.
But there has been one good development, which is that apparently there's going to be 60 Hz NTSC options in the future for games that are running at 50 Hz at the moment. So they're going to roll that out in like the classic games in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, and other places where we have 50 Hz at the moment. So
that would be good. Yes.
Yeah.
I love them Hertz.
Yeah.
Extra 10 of them, boys.
So before we get to the end of this,
50 is never enough, is it, Sean?
Second.
You always fancy another 10.
Yeah, so just before we get to so are we all going to subscribe to this to give it a go? Or
yeah,
you said you will.
Quid to upgrade, I'm going to do that.
I am subscribed to it. And because I did that thing, and where you get I've got it until the end of the year, I think. And I mean, I had a look, but it reminded me of just when I used to look at PlayStation Now and see what was on that. It doesn't feel significantly different. If you had that and you had the PlayStation Collection, the stuff that you got when you got the PS5, it's quite similar with the addition of a couple. I mean, there are some nice additions there because you've got stuff
Miles
like
Morales
Returnal.
Is on there now, right?
Yeah, you got Miles Morales, you got Returnal. I mean, it's just unfortunate for I think for people like us, maybe we've already played most of these games that are already on there.
Yeah,
but if you
we've played too many games. Give me games that I haven't played. Sony. Just a quick one, James. Mm-hmm. So. You go onto your PlayStation app, and then you go onto upgrades or whatever, and it says you can pay this much, and then it's £100 a year after that, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Can you just click that and then go straight away to turn off auto renew?
You can, yes. If you have to go into your account, if you go into your account settings, you can then turn off auto renew.
And you did that straight away, did you? Or
I haven't done that yet, no. But I know you can do that because I've done it before.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'll probably do that. Auto-renewing that. Go on.
Okay. Next story is that, Fall Guys came out on Switch and on Xbox as well, and it's already hit 20 million players very quickly.
Smashing it again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Smashing it again. We'll talk about that later, shall we? Because it's in the what you've been playing segment.
It's on the list.
We've played a fair bit of that.
But yeah, massive, 20 million. That's really good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
And it's still, they patched the Switch version as well. I think it was yesterday, which would have been Monday this week, and it's incredible the difference it's made. Like, absolutely incredible. It's very,
very. What's great about Fall Guys, right? When they launched, within a week, I think they started introducing new levels and stuff. You just think, fucking hell, that's how you do it. Halo, got that out, and then just forgot about it.
Introduce some silence.
Yeah, it was never good to introduce that, is it?
No, it's the worst thing ever.
Well, don't worry, because 343 Industries have got some plans.
Oh yeah,
for some Halo plans.
Finally, a shorter season, single player DLC.
Forget the plans, get the maps out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're planning to bring microtransactions to the Master Chief Collection.
Right, fuck. Master Chief Collection. Fucking hell. What do you mean?
Why? Well, okay, they're talking about adding what they're calling purchasable Spartan points, which is what they're going to have.
Off.
And the idea is that you'll get these so that then you can buy like unlockables and like cosmetics and all that kind of thing. And they want to do
that. Imagine that, like retrofitting. Oh my god! Imagine that, retrofitting microtransactions into a classic retro game. Do you know what I mean? That's mad, isn't it?
It's sad, but it makes sense.
I was going to say, did someone at Microsoft just stand up and be like, "Hello, why are we supporting Halo Infinite when no one's playing it? More people are playing the Master Chief Collection. Can we not monetize
let's move
that
everything
further?"
over.
Like, yeah.
Do you want to hear the quote?
Oh yeah,
for the reason. So they said,
please.
For players who are new to the Master Chief Collection, or who may not have dedicated much time specifically to unlocking items during the seasonal updates, or are simply completionists looking to catch the last outstanding items they need, we are internally exploring a potential new feature for the future in the form of purchasable Spartan points. Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
All right,
Cannot wait.
Have a look. How old is Phil Spencer? Can someone Google that?
Well, no, someone Googling, we all guess. I'm going to say he is 49.
I was going to say 48.
Ooh.
So he was born in. Hold on, Phil Spencer.
I've just looked it up. Do you want to guess, Dave?
Right. Yeah. Oh no, it's come up on my screen. 52. Right.
Wait,
okay.
what?
So
Wow.
when was he born?
No, he's.
How old was he in 2001? Who's good at maths?
No, before that, Sean, have you got different answers for his age?
Yeah, I've got 54. He was born in 68.
Oh, I've got 11th of December, 69.
I've got 12th of January, 68. Fuck.
Google.com.
I've never heard of it. What are you on, Sean?
Hang on a minute. This is just.
It's on
just from Google.
Yeah, Phil Spencer, British media personality.
Hang on, fucking hell, Dave. Says that he's 73.
He's got the guy with Kirsty Allsop.
Location, or whatever he is. Homes under the hammer.
They've literally got a picture of Phil Spencer next to him, like our Phil Spencer.
It's Phil Spencer.
Not only that, I can't believe they're only a year away from each other.
It was a popular name at the time. I can't believe
trying to work out.
Google reckons that's the one you meant based on your interests and searches.
Yeah. I love that show. What can I say? What I'm trying to work out is how old Phil Spencer was when the original Halo come out, because I've got a theory that he was shit at it and all his mates took the piss out of him because he was shit at it, and now he's made it his sole purpose to get to the head of the Xbox division and completely destroy Halo so that no one plays it. And they go, oh yeah, great, we completely ruined the new Halo game. Reach. Not Reach. That's not the new one. What's it called? Halo Infinite. Mm. We've completely destroyed that player base. What's that? They're all going back to the Master Chief Collection. Monetize it. Let's ruin
Dave,
it.
there's only one way to find
Halo
out.
Again. Go on.
I've got him on my phone. I'll ring him now.
Give him a call.
I'll ring
Give him
now.
a call.
See.
He might not answer. What time is it in America?
He'll be fine.
Put on the speakerphone.
Might be having his lunch.
Hello, Phil Spencer here.
Hey, Phil, it's Matt from the computer game show. I don't know what time it is over there, but
Where?
So in the computer game show.
Oh, my favorite podcast.
Yeah. So we've got a question. When you were playing Halo as a young man, were you good or were you a bit rubbish at it?
No, I was great.
Cool. Well, I think that's answered our question because we're looking at the old microtransactions as Spartan points. We're like, Phil must have been shit as a kid.
Oh, break it up. Break it up. Go.
Oh, okay. Awesome to speak to you. Speak to you later, Phil.
What a fascinating phone call. What a fascinating phone call.
I can't believe you picked up, but yeah.
Where'd you get his number from?
Oh, I just found it on a
post-it
toilet door or something.
Have we run out of ideas?
No, we've got new ideas now.
Okay, cool.
This proves that we never will.
Have we jumped the shark?
Yes.
This is proof of new ideas, isn't it,
We
David?
do that every week.
Just continuously jumping over sharks. All right, go on then.
Okay, so From Software's next game is in the final stages of development. So Miyazaki says that they're currently in the final stages, and they're looking now to the medium to long term. Yeah,
I can't wait.
I was going to ask that, Sean. Is that the most likely?
I mean, it's the only other game that they've leaked screenshots of. So
the next game is not going to be Elden Ring 2. It's not going to be another Dark Souls game, surely.
Well, exactly. So it doesn't make sense.
Mist rising in the dark, and you're going to look at it, and there's going to be souls and bonfires and sorts of or lanterns.
Could there be another Sekiro?
I guess.
Do you not think it's too close to Elden Ring? I don't know. Yeah. It feels like this would be the perfect time to
quite regularly.
But at least something.
They do, but
different.
I would have thought they'd go back to Bloodborne before they do another Sekiro, but then maybe that depends on agreements with Sony and stuff. I don't know. Hopefully it's Armored Core, but we'll see.
I hope it is, Sean.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm not going to play it.
Shut me up.
But no, it's just because I think it'd be nice for them to release something different, that was a bit, not just another.
Exactly. And like I've said, with the traction that FromSoft have now, it would be really cool to see an Armored Core game released into to that audience who will hopefully take the time to appreciate it rather than because they've always been really good games, but they've always been fucking hard to get into. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially as you say, Sean, the screenshots were leaked. Was it from an alpha or something, or something early this year? So that feels like that's the one that's next.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
But there's no further news at the moment, so yeah, we don't know.
Mm.
Anyway,
doesn't this piece also say they're working on several other games? Or we're developing several titles, so that's pretty exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
You forget how much they've grown now, don't you? They're absolutely huge.
I know, I'm so proud of them. 1 minute they're just a baby little development cut studio, and then they don't even want to know you anymore.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
They don't answer the phone.
No,
this week, FromSoft wouldn't let me walk them to the gates at school for the first time ever,
and they started getting semen everywhere. It's horrible.
What?
Right, okay, no, I was talking
Jesus.
about. Okay.
Sorry, what?
What's the matter with you, Sean? Why do you always take it too far?
Classic
you always
potty
take
mouth
it
Sean.
too far. He's the one that always takes it too far. Nobody else. Just Sean Bell.
I'm just so brave.
So courageous.
Yeah.
Go on. Next.
So also there was a Nintendo Direct Mini today.
I haven't seen a thing of this.
Neither have I. I don't know anything about it, really.
So busy all day that I haven't seen anything.
It was another weird one in that, the sort of quote unquote headlines are all ports and stuff. For some reason, I mean, I'm not complaining, but we're getting a Switch port of Nier Automata for some reason. And the Persona games are coming to the Switch as well. Which don't get me wrong, time poor people like ourselves, the Switch is generally the only way we're going to play something like a JRPG, right? So that's definitely more interesting to me than the fact that they were coming to the Xbox.
Yeah, people have wanted Persona on Switch for so long. Yeah. I mean, when it all got announced on Xbox and later the same day PC and PlayStation, there was fake tweets going around for a fake Nibelian saying it's coming out on Switch, and that's because just been heavily rumoured and wanted for a while. So to actually get the confirmation, that's awesome, and you're totally right, Sean. I think if I'm going to play it, even though it will be on Game Pass, I think it's on Game Pass. Yeah. I'll probably just end up playing on Switch because I want to see what the deal is.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it started with Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which...
This was brilliant, right? So I watched this while having dinner, and I turned it on, and Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak started, and after about 2 minutes, I was like, oh no, have I clicked the wrong one? Am I watching a one from last month? But no, it was today's one. I was like, this is Was that the same trailer, or was I imagining it?
I think it was a new trailer, but as you say, yeah, it was a good couple of minutes of like a 15-minute presentation, whatever it was, and yeah, like it's out in 2 days, so.
It's just because that bit ended with the same kind of roadmap where it gets like vaguer and vaguer.
Not a great start, is it?
No, I mean, obviously, it's out in 2 days, so they weren't going to not mention it, but to give it such prominence and, a fairly lengthy trailer, maybe a bit unnecessary, but I mean, whatever. There was some good stuff, though.
Yeah, so the one that probably piqued my interest, there's 2 indie games that I like the look of the most. One's called Lorelei and the Puzzle Eyes. It's like, they describe it as like a surreal puzzle adventure. It's an indie game from Annapurna. It's actually coming to Switch first, so it's Switch on the launch exclusive or Switch exclusive, I don't know. And it's basically a puzzle game, very black and white, very monotone colours, but it's got 3D sections which look very kind of PS1 3D. Which I think is fascinating because that's kind of like an era that people don't really want to go back to, because at the time developers are still kind of working out how 3D worked and how like cameras worked. But the 3D stuff in this trailer looked very much like PS1 3D, which looked awesome, I thought.
Yeah.
The other one,
it's Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, by the way. Not
sorry, what's that?
You said Puzzle Eyes.
Oh, I'm the worst. Yeah. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Yeah, I thought that looked awesome.
This is being made by Simogo, who, they've done like a ton of really interesting mobile stuff, and then they worked on Sayonara Wild Heart. So this looks, you can sort of see, like visually, some of the DNA there, but yeah, completely different type of game. But yeah, it looks really interesting.
Yeah, the other one that looked really good is a game called Blank, which is it's like a co-op game, local or online. It's like you play as like a fawn and a wolf cub, and it's basically them finding their way back home. It's again very, very black and white, whereas like the Laser Eyes was primarily black with like kind of white highlights. This is set in like snowy landscape, so it's very, very white with like black outlines around objects and bits of scenery. It looks a bit like a children's book, but looked like it could have like a nice story. Could be quite emotional. There's 2 like animals trying to find their way home. That looked really nice. And that's cool. Blank.
Yeah, as well up for that. There was a decent gameplay trailer for Return to Monkey Island, which I thought awesome looked fantastic.
I saw that. That's like a launch exclusive or something, isn't it, as well, for the Switch?
Is it? I don't know. Oh, yeah, launch first on console by Nintendo Switch.
Launch exclusive, so I think it's coming to PC and Switch, and then it will come to the other ones later.
Yeah, the Switch will be a great place to play it anyway, so...
Yeah,
makes
absolutely.
sense. I've seen people being a bit iffy about the art style. I think it looks amazing.
It's lovely. What are their issues with it?
I don't know. Just seen people being like, "Oh, not sure about the way it looks." I'm like, what's the problem? I think it really nicely bridges the gap.
I'm about to give my opinion.
What's Dave?
Let me give my opinion. I'm looking at screenshots now. That's all right.
There you go. See, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Well, we got it there.
No, just because obviously the jump from Monkey Island 2 to 3, like, technically was huge, right? And like Guy Pursuit would look completely different in Monkey Island 3. And this sort of nicely bridges the gap between the two, I think. Do you
know what it looks like? It looks like modern cartoons. I think we're probably more accustomed to this style.
That's true.
It does. It look like the style, like the modern cartoons have gone this sort of, not abstract, but slightly, I don't know. It's funny how they
lack of outlines. That's quite
colours, the outlines, all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
Well, Samurai Jack sort of kicks that off, but it's been sort of growing over the last sort of 10, 15 years. I know. I think it looks wonderful, and like hearing the voice, is it Dominic? Who voices Guybrush Threepwood still sounds the same, because I always think like, but it's been like 15, 20 years or whatever since you last voiced him. Surely like the voice will have shifted or gone a bit deeper with age, but no, it sounds great.
I was always a bit freaked out when I heard his voice, because when I played it originally, there was no voice.
Yeah,
of
course,
it was just text, and it's just
you're an old man.
Yeah, thanks.
So you're welcome.
We're getting a new Mario and Rabbids. Did we know this already?
Yeah, we did. Last year.
Fine.
I think on a recent episode we said, "What the fuck happened to the sequel to Mario and Rabbids?"
Oh, there you go. This is what the fuck happened to it. It's coming out.
This got announced like
E3
2021 or whatever. But also, by the time you listen to this, so on Wednesday there's also a special showcase on this game. It's like a mini direct.
Oh, right, okay.
If you want to learn more about Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
No, you're right.
The first one was good. I mean,
it was good.
You know, I'm like, I still don't want to give Ubisoft any money, but I did like the first one.
Fuck you getting this?
Yeah, fuck it. I'll
got Rabbids
discard
in
my
it.
morals. That's how much I love Mario plus Rabbids. I did really like the first one. So I totally get people being excited for this.
Oh, and there's other things that pique my interest.
Go on.
Sorry, David.
I have got a question. There were all those rumours about there being a Nintendo Direct at the end of the month. Is this
pretty sure this
or
was
are we expecting a proper one?
This is definitely in it. It's
they
announced another one for tomorrow or the day after.
Yeah, I think we're going to squeeze another one in. There's a few other bits worth talking about.
Can I ask you about Sonic Frontiers?
I was going to get to that, yeah. How did
that look? They showed Sonic Frontiers.
So they showed Sonic Frontiers, and God love them, I'm fairly certain they were showing us the Switch version, because it looked worse than what we've seen already.
Did it really?
But, like for a Switch game, like quite impressive, I thought. And crucially, there was a couple of seconds of like an area that actually looked like a Sonic game.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this before, but I think this was in a lot of the preview, because I watched the 10-minute demo thing on IGN, or 10-minute video thing, but I guess I gather there were previews after that, which I didn't watch, but they mentioned these things called like super stages or something. I'm getting the name wrong.
Haven't they said now that it's like there's like an open world kind of hub and then traditional levels that you go to? Yeah. That's what I'd heard is the way this is being structured. I can't remember all
these other things, but they kind of look to me like the equivalent of shrines. You'll go in there, that's more of a traditional Sonic level, so they said a race to the end.
Yeah, those are cyberspace portals.
Cyberspace, yeah. It looks like you'll be doing the open. It's not open world; it's open zone. The open zone gameplay. Going to these.
What's the difference?
That's just what they've called it.
It just means it's free roaming within like a limited area, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than
like it's not free roaming within like an open world.
Well, it's free roaming within a certain specific type part of the world, not open world.
Yeah, that's just like normal levels. Then you could describe Mario 64 like that, right?
Yep.
I think some people said it's a bit closer to some bits in Odyssey, but anyway. Yeah, but it looks like you go in these things a little bit like shrines, and that's how I kind of saw them. Do a challenge, do something, and then that affects what happens in the open zone area.
Yeah. And like I say, there was one that looked, it was still 3D, but it had the look of like Green Hill Zone or whatever. So I thought that was quite encouraging. I'm still not saying, it's going to be good, because it's fucking Sonic game.
We know it won't be good, but
but I still don't hate it.
No, me neither.
Yeah, and that was basically it. There was a little montage, which had a bunch of trailers. Portal 1 and 2 are coming to the Switch. If you still haven't played those, that's good news, I guess.
I thought that was announced previously. That's not new information, is it?
Sorry, it's out today, apparently. That was
it's out now. So it's the Portal Companion Collection out now, so that's pretty cool. Other things I mentioned that I wrote down, there's a game called Disney Dreamlight Valley. Don't give a fuck about the game, but it's launching on September 6th and they said it officially as an early access title. Is that like Switch's first early access title?
Yeah, pretty sure
so
that's
I thought
not
that was interesting.
Yeah.
Another game, Harvest Stella. It's basically a Square Enix game. It's what they describe as like life simulation plus RPG. And a lot of people saying, it's like Stardew meets Final Fantasy, but that looked quite interesting.
It did.
They said, this has got all the seasons, spring, summer, winter. Another season, Quietus, the season of death, which I think we all can agree it's the worst season.
Yeah.
Worst wardrobe.
Not
hate
for me,
that.
I like it.
I'm more of an autumn person.
There was also
Harvest Stella looks good.
In the montage, there was a game called Railgrade, which I thought looked excellent, because it was like one of those, it's sort of become that this sort of genre where it's like you're kind of building a factory, right? And you're putting things around, like going around on conveyor belts, and then there's sort of machines that sort of alter the properties of the thing being, moved around, and you kind of building like a production line, right, to sort of produce things and have them end up in certain destinations. It's one of those, but it's all trains, and you're just sort of building these like sort of complex sort of railways.
Oh yeah, that did look good.
Yeah, I thought that was decent. But
that to me shouted lunchtime stream, Sean.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely.
That was it. I mean, it was all right. It was okay.
That sounds
there was
right.
other stuff we've not mentioned because we weren't fussed, but other people are like, why haven't you mentioned Super Bomberman 2? Because we're not bothered.
No, and I guess
I'd love to get involved. The only way I'd play a Bomberman game now is if there was like a battle royale version of it on like Xbox on Game Pass or something.
Yeah.
I love the.
So this one does have a 15-player mode where basically it's like one team of players trying to bomb someone, and the other players go like defend their area or defend an area, and it's like, okay, is this trying to be a bit more like big old multiplayer online game? But I
think they've done it before, haven't they? On browser, they've done a battle royale Bomberman.
Possibly,
maybe.
But I think it was like, I don't think it was an official release. I'd love them to properly do that.
I know it's like, it's not exactly a deep cut these days, but do you remember that one they released for the 360?
Yeah, I do.
Where they were like, let's make it moody and serious and realistic.
No?
Holy shit, isn't it Bomberman Zero?
No, I don't know about this.
Oh my god, look it up. My favourite story about Bomberman Zero was, because it came out around the time where I was I was a student in London and I was going to like some press events and stuff. And I got chatting to someone who I think, don't quote me on this, I think it was James Batchelor, who now works at
Games Industry.
Games Industry like this. Yeah. But obviously this was like 15 years ago or whatever.
Everyone tweeted.
And he was writing, whoever it was, he was writing for a trade magazine at the time. And he was saying like the way they do, that they would have like a thing where it's like every week, here's what's coming out. But it was like, it's information for retailers, right? So it wasn't like, this game is good or bad. It was just, this is who this game is aimed at, right? Like, here's who you should attempt to sell this to. And he took one look at Bomberman Zero and was like, I've got no idea. Phoned the publisher. Like, what do I put? Who's the target audience for Bomberman Zero? And the publisher were like, I don't know, man. Just don't put whatever you want. It was just absolutely bizarre. Absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I mean, you just got to look at the box art for it. It's hilarious.
Yep.
Wasn't there an old Bomberman box art that just looks really weird as well, where they were like really beefed up men with those like the heads that or was that some sort of
I don't know
art that I'd seen?
Nope.
I don't know.
David's search history getting announced on the podcast again.
Yeah. Bomberman Act Zero it was. Sorry, historians.
Well,
you're all the Bomberman fans having to delete their emails.
My house is fucking doomed, I tell you.
It's over. But yeah, in terms of directs, I guess this is the last one out until September, if they stick to their traditional big September direct.
Yeah.
Which is kind of disappointing, isn't it? Because it means, what have we got coming? We've got Splatoon and Pokemon.
And Xenoblade.
Splatoon and Pokemon, like in the next for the next
Xenoblade is a big deal. I know we always take the piss, and not without good reason, but it is a big deal to some people.
All right. I've found the image, right?
Oh, yeah?
It's the Turbo Graphics version of Bomberman. I'm going to put it in the group chat, but if you want to know what we're looking at, search Turbo Graphics Bomberman. It's the artwork for that game. Have a look at that.
Oh, yeah. It's the stance the blue guys pull is incredible.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
That's mad, isn't it?
I like the way that guy's face doesn't quite fit properly in the.
None of him fits properly, does it? Bless him. Yeah. He's having a bad time in that suit.
Look at the eyes.
Look at the guy behind chucking the bomb.
At the bottom left it says multiplayer game.
It does. Imagine that.
Is that it for the Nintendo Direct? It probably is, isn't it?
Yeah. I got some more Nintendo stuff though, because Chris Pratt has said that his Mario movie voice will be unlike anything you've heard in Mario 4. He says, I've worked really closely with the directors and trying out a few things and landed on something that I'm really proud of. I can't wait for people to see and hear.
I can't wait.
It's an animated voiceover narrative. Yeah. So this is funny. He says it's an animated voiceover narrative. It's not a live action movie. And it's
right.
It's like you've got to clarify that point. Yeah, it's.
I think it's probably worth clarifying. So, oh, brilliant! It's a live action movie with an animated voiceover narrative. That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. But
whatever it is, people are going to be angry.
Definitely,
no matter what happens, people are going to be angry. So I'm just going to go into this with just whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just see what they do.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I think Charlie Day is going to be amazing. Anya Taylor-Joy, it's got a good cast. And Nintendo aren't going to let us be a dud, are they?
No, I mean, they've done that before with Mario.
Nintendo,
I know it's easy to say that now, but in this day and age, I like to think that's not the case. they know a bit more about what they need to do and what not to do.
This isn't anything to do with Mario, but it's reminded me, and I can't say why because it will spoil it. Can everyone please watch the new Chip and Dale film that is on Disney Plus? If you listen to this show and you know things about games, there is a joke in it that will absolutely destroy you.
Amazing.
I fucking loved it.
Does either Chip or Dale stand up and say "fuck Kane and rinse"?
Yes,
because I'd love
that's
that.
Actually, the entire end credits they do that.
And if you know gaming, then you'll know it to be true. So,
exactly, yeah, it's just fact. It's just really good anyway. Yeah, there was one bit in particular that's wrapping my head around, like how they went about asking to even do it, and it's great. It's really good.
Cool.
Okay, last story is that Sonic Origins has come out, but the developer isn't very happy with Sega about the state of the game. So this is it was this guy. It's Simon Tomley of Sonic. He's from Headcanon, and he was one of the developers, obviously working on this. And he went on Twitter and just said quite a lot about the release of the game. Can I read some of this because it's quite interesting?
Please do.
Okay, so it says, "This is frustrating. I won't lie and say that there wasn't issues in what we gave to Sega, but what is in Origins is also not what we turned in. Integration introduced some wild bugs that conventional logic would have one believe were our responsibility. A lot of them aren't. Again, I can take responsibility for my and my team's mistakes, and there were some actual mistakes. Some overlooking, some rush jobs, some stuff we noticed that weren't allowed to correct near the end. It's absolutely not perfect, and some of it is from us, and it's complicated." And he says, "I'm extremely proud of my team for their performance under such pressure, but every one of us is very unhappy about the state of Origins, and even the Sonic 3 component. We weren't too thrilled about its pre-submission state either, but a lot was beyond our control. We asked to do major fixes near submission, but weren't allowed due to submission and approval rules. We asked about delays early and repeatedly, but they were told that this wasn't possible. We've offered to come back for post-release fixes and updates. We do not yet know if this is happening. We want these problems to be addressed. We provided a ton of feedback during and after development for both Origins and its Sonic 3 integration. We've done a good chunk of work after our work term was over to fix things, to support Sega and to prepare for future updates." But he's a bit annoyed, basically, about the state of the game.
Yeah.
Shame.
And I mean, Digital Foundry just put up a video, which is basically goes through all the various issues that there are with the game in terms of like graphic problems and stuff like that. I didn't even know
this was coming out. What is Sonic Origins?
Oh, let me tell you about Sonic Origins.
So James obviously announced last week that he had bought it for literally no reason, wasn't it, James?
Yeah, I did.
What a little transition there, because this is the game you've been playing this week, right?
It is, yeah. I have played
Time for what you've been playing
this week, and I bought this and I bought it and then instantly regret. I mean, it was like a Darman video. It was instant regret. It was like,
you see,
it was complete. Like, I just regretted it. And
come on.
Then eventually, it downloaded it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to play this, because you can't get refunds on the eShop, which is really irritating. And I mean, I don't know why I bought it. I think it was probably because I've been watching Sonic 2. And I was just like, I want to play something good. And then I thought, maybe I'll try these again. But I've played these so many times on every single platform that I think I've ever owned.
What is it? What's the collection? I don't get what this collection is that we haven't seen a million times before.
Well, it isn't. That's the thing. It's a collection of 4 Sonic games. But then also they've updated them so that they're like, they're widescreen. They've added moves into the original games that weren't there to begin with. They've changed the music around in some of the levels.
There, James, you all right, mate?
Yeah. I'm sorry, just swallowing. It's yeah. I'm just a bit sad.
Your pride.
Yeah, it's
go on.
But no, and then they've also added there's a museum stuff, and they've added this mission mode as well, which is I think is quite cool. Actually, it's quite a nice idea. Where what it is that you play through the entire series, and they've added sort of cartoon cutscenes, like at the beginning of each game and at the end of each game as well, and you just play through the whole thing as one story. But
can I just point out to you?
Yeah, I know. I've played them a million times. I know.
You've regretted buying it.
Yeah.
You've got it on. You've played them a million times. Yet you're impressed by a mission where you have to play through all of them again. Is that right?
No. I like the fact that they've added a bit of extra context to it. and some of the cutscenes look pretty good. Like they're well animated, and they're pretty nice.
So it is good then.
Well, yeah, that aspect of the game is quite good, but it's not worth £30. Like to see that, honestly, you can just watch it on YouTube.
Before Sonic games, how many of these are already on the Mega Drive collection on?
Right, so that's the thing. So there's two on the Switch. There's two collections. There's the one that comes with Switch Online, but that only has Sonic 2. It doesn't have any other Sonic games on it. And presumably that's because of this release. Like they were
I know they took off a bunch of other versions, and so everyone has to buy this.
Right. Yeah, you can't buy it like the original ones on 360 anymore, for example, or on Xbox, because you have to buy this instead. They just delisted them. And then also there's also the Mega Drive collection on the Switch, but that doesn't have Sonic 3 because Sonic 3 has always been the problem game because of the fact that it has music in it, which it was kind of confirmed but not really confirmed that Michael Jackson worked on.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? So after 2 decades or whatever of speculation. And, well, I mean, more than speculation, but I think pretty much, there was enough evidence.
Yeah, didn't Michael Jackson himself say, yeah, I worked on that?
No, don't think so.
No, I thought he had.
But yeah, was it Yuji Naka just tweeted this week and was like, oh man, they've taken out the Michael Jackson music. It was like,
and they replaced it with stuff which is significant. Like it's worse. Like it's a lot worse than what was there before,
like it's not even like a fitting or suitable tribute to the original music, is it? It's like,
no.
Yeah. It just sounds anything like it. We should say for context, like Headcanon were the people who made Sonic Mania, right? So they've got
which was brilliant.
Yeah, so they've got previous form, like they know what they're doing. So it's not like they just shit at making Sonic games. So yeah, shame.
But the other thing that they've done with this is that you see most of these retro collections nowadays they have things like like rewinds, like save states and all that kind of stuff. This doesn't have any of that. Like, there's no save states, there's no rewind. And what they've done for the single player is that you can play it in, like, classic mode, which is, where you have lives and all that kind of thing. Or you can play through the anniversary edition, which is where there's no lives. Like, so you could just play through, keep dying, doesn't matter, you always come back. And they add these coins instead. So every time you get like 100 rings, you get like a coin, like it adds. And you start off with, I think it's with 100 coins. And that's what you're supposed to use to like unlock things in the museum and stuff. So it forces you to kind of like play through to unlock stuff like music and things like that in the museum, which is
so like you play soundtracks and all that sort of stuff.
But they're giving you coins and not rings.
I know it's very strange. But I mean, one of the things about it which I did kind of like is that with the mission mode, when you're doing this with the coins, like collecting these. When you go into the special stages, like if you fail in the special stage, it comes up and it says, "Do you want to have another crack at this?" And then you could just like use one of the coins and then like try again. And that feels like a way of like they're not giving you save states, to deal with, because some of those are quite difficult, to try and get all the like the Chaos Emeralds and stuff. So instead, it's like, okay, we'll use the coins as another way. But I mean, I guess that's the other reason why there aren't save states is because they want this unlocking system for all like the for the museum. Right. And if you had save states, you could totally like cheat that. It'd be really easy. But this still does feel like a big cash grab, honestly, and I'm disappointed that like why they didn't include like this is going to be like an Origins like collection. Why are they like Master System games not in there, for example? Like that couldn't have been too difficult just to chuck those in there as well, like the Game Gear ones or Master System ones. And I mean, I've not noticed any significant bugs myself, but there are things that have been changed, particularly because of the change to widescreen, which does change the gameplay like quite significantly, I'd say. Like when you do like the first boss on the first on Green Hill Zone, it's the one with the he drops the ball and then the ball goes from side to side and you have to like dodge out of the way. Well,
is that just like a big old space that you can just stand
there's two spaces on right and left which you can stand there and it's fine.
That's hilarious.
There's stuff like that, and there's also other things where people have noticed where there's like like the ceiling's too low, like where you can't jump like properly over stuff. There's stuff like that where they've where things are not working, and I assume this is all the stuff that Headcanon has already said. These are the problems that need to be fixed with this.
Yeah.
But it just feels like a bit of a shame. And also, I mean, at £30, it feels too much, honestly, like for the content you get. And I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. I'm an idiot. I mean, I was an absolute idiot to buy this.
That's such a mad thing to do.
James, remove your payment options from Switch Online. Just whatever it takes for you to have a second to think about it. If you have to like try and find a credit card or PayPal password. Just remove it all.
Yeah.
Like, why are you pre-ordering a game anyway? You didn't need to play it at midnight, did you?
No, this was during the day. I don't know why. It was just as I said,
feel something, Matt. Leave him alone.
Yeah, it is partly that. I mean, nothing was coming out for ages either, and then a whole bunch of really good stuff has come out, and I was like, I don't know why I bought that. That was a waste of money. And it's my biggest regret of any game I've bought on Switch, I'd say. And because it just feels so kind of pointless, really.
So are you going to endeavour to play any of this stuff to the end? I know you. Yeah, I mean, that.
You bought Mario Football.
I know, and that was. So did you? Don't have a go at me for that. You bought it as well.
I'm not having a go at you. Yeah. You're saying that Sonic is a worse.
It's worse
for your Switch.
I'd say it's a worse purchase than Mario Strikers. Yeah,
okay.
Especially if you own this on anything else, which I'm sure pretty much everybody does.
I need to take Mario Strikers to CX.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, I finished Sonic 1. Like, I played through the whole of that in the mission mode, and that was fine. But it's like, I've played this many, many times. I don't know why I'm playing it again. I mean, it's a good game, but it's still, it's Sonic again, isn't it?
It is Sonic again. Right, anything else?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I've played some other stuff. I played Sifu as well. I went back to that because the patch came out for that. And it's turned it into the game that I wanted it to be in the first place, because I just stuck it on the lower difficulty on student, and there's still completely enough challenge, to make you feel like it's that you're not just like walking through the whole thing, but it becomes much more doable and much less frustrating, I found. And you can like mess around and play around with the combo system a lot more easily without sort of just suddenly dying. And I mean, I played through to the end, and I got the true ending as well by playing through it like several times.
Oh, nice.
And I mean, I just really enjoyed like working on the combos, unlocking more moves, and it just feels so solid. That sound of like when you kick someone into a door, and then like from the speaker on the DualSense, you get like this like sort of like that, and it sounds great. It's just it's a very good game. I would really, now it's been patched, I would highly recommend it. Like it's a very good time, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I was enjoying what I was playing, but it's just a bit too hard, and I didn't really want to hit my head against the wall to keep trying to push through. But I've heard nothing but good things about this patch, so I'll definitely go back and play it. Yeah,
I really would recommend it, especially because one of the things they did was that like whenever you die, you get older in the game, and towards the end they started to do the thing where it was like you were sort of the ages were going up in increments of like 5 years or whatever, but if you put it down on student, it remains at like 1 year like at a time.
Oh, nice.
So it becomes a lot more doable like when you're doing it. I mean, you still really do need skill to get through some of these bosses, because you can't just like hammer at them. Like you still have to like figure out the patterns and stuff like that, but it's just you have time to experiment is what I liked about it, which you don't. I never felt that I had when I played this pre-patch, because you just get destroyed, and whereas now you don't.
I will play that game at some point.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
but definitely stick it on student, because the more difficult ones were less fun, I thought. And then the only other thing I played is Neon White, because I bought that.
Oh, nice!
And I've been playing that.
You're on Switch, yeah?
And it's
of course you are.
Yeah. I've been playing on Switch.
You've not seen his scores coming up?
Sean? Oh, sorry, I thought you were asking James. Yes, but it is weird. Like I've had sessions where it just will not connect to the score.
Yeah, I've had that
loads. I'm assuming that's down to the Switch, right? Because I've got ones where, when you were saying, like I was looking at your scores and trying to get back to the top of them, but the majority of them, for mine, it was like, it comes up and says your record is 10 seconds. And then I looked down at the scoreboard, on bottom of the scoreboard, and it said 25 seconds. And I'm like, what? So I had to sort of redo it, and then it forced it to update my score on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Some of them take ages to load as well.
It's weird.
But I'm interested to find out, James, how are you finding Neon White?
I absolutely love it.
Yes.
I really love it. And it's
fucking great, isn't it?
I mean, it's all about rhythm, and I really dig that. I mean, I do find that my brain is too slow sometimes, like to make the changes quickly enough. Which like how after you get past the first, there's like the first set, like the first mission set, and then the one after that they start to introduce more complicated, like having to flick through the weapons so that you have different abilities you can discard or whatever, so that you can do it. And that, like a couple of times, I didn't realise that it was teeing up the ones you needed next anyway, and it was fine. And so I was still kind of,
you don't need to switch at all, really.
And I thought that you did, and so I was wasting time like trying to do that and getting frustrated and confused.
See.
And then I was like, no, you don't need to do that. It's fine. And then I began to enjoy it a lot more. But it feels brilliant to play, doesn't it? Like just like running through somewhere and then just like, headshotting somebody and then running across and then like discarding a weapon to jump up to a higher level and then like crashing down through like some like wood or whatever. It's really, really good. It's incredibly fun.
I'm interested, how are you finding the character based stuff?
How do you mean? You mean like the conversation stuff?
Yeah,
it's all right. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like really enamoured by it.
Okay, so I was going to say I would have thought that'd be right up your street, but then I suppose if you've played more games like that, you'll be harder to impress. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I wouldn't say it hasn't done anything yet that's made me sort of like sit up and take notice.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean? It's just it's fine. Yeah,
for me that stuff. It seems all right. Like seems all well enough written. Fuck you, way too long. So I made the decision quite early on that I am just going to hit that skip button, fast forward for it. I don't need any of that.
I don't blame you. It's obviously I've just done like that first set of levels and then sort of went back to sort of redo them and try and like get everything. So story wise, I'm not far in at all, but it's doing that thing that really annoys me where like. Main character's got amnesia. Everyone else seems to know who he is. And he's like, hi, yeah, I don't remember any of you. I've got amnesia. And they're all like, yeah, okay. And it's like, no, why aren't you just telling me everything? And it's like, the answer is because the story needs to last 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, they need to drag it out a bit.
And that's, that's like a very anime thing to do. And it winds me up a bit. But I mean, maybe by the end of the game, I'll be like, oh, isn't it weird that I cared about that at the start? Who knows?
I'll tell you this. I don't know if you've got to this point yet, James, but the story starts planning to what you're doing.
Oh, really? What, as in it comments on what you're doing?
No. Yeah, it's not a spoiler. Fuck it. Like, there's boss fights in it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I didn't feel at any point that I needed to know the story to understand what was going on. It was just like, oh, it's just doing something slightly different here, so that's fine. I could do that. And I don't know. I just for people that want to get into that stuff, like I like the premise. I like the idea that you're playing a sinner in heaven, trying to make amends so that you can get. I think the reward is 1 year in heaven before you spend eternity in hell. They're like, what?
I thought it was like 1 year in heaven, then the competition happens again next year.
Yeah, I see.
Oh, really? I thought it was. Oh, right.
That was the sense I mean,
to be fair, I was fast forwarding everything, so I can't really argue. But I don't know. It's that stuff is fine for people that want to do it, but for me, I've just been the gameplay is just so beyond good that I got to the point where I was like, I don't want to be reading all this stuff. I just want to get to the next level now, please.
I mean, the voice acting's fine. Like the main character's voiced by Steve Bloom, who is a legend.
Yeah, seems fine.
But yeah, if you're not in the mood for that sort of thing, there's a lot of it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, again, like I said last week, it took me by surprise. I didn't know it was going to be in there, and I've enjoyed it for what it is. I'm certainly not skipping it. I want to see what happens. I like, talking to the various different neons and their own kind of idiosyncrasies and styles and how they're trying to either extract information from you or tell you information a little bit, admittedly slowly, as Sean mentioned. But no, I'm enjoying that aspect. And obviously the gameplay is a different level and a totally different beast, but I'm enjoying the kind of differences between the two.
I think as well, like, you're saying last week, Matt, about the way that like every level you play, like you're very explicitly not expected to be any good at it initially. Like it's,
no way.
The faster times you get and stuff, you start unlocking like the different ranks per level, and it's only when you get to like the last one that it then gives you the leaderboards. Because it's so shit when like a game either has like leaderboards or like some sort of grading system, like Platinum. as as great as they can be, they're fucking awful for this. Like, if you're not brilliant at one of their games, and you'll scrape through a section and be like, oh man, that was really fun, and it's like, you get fucking stone rank E, you're shit. And it's like, oh, fuck off, I just don't want to know. Like, just let me play it first. Yeah. I'm not supposed to get good ranks on my first playthrough. Shut up. So,
fucking Bayonetta was terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible for that. Yeah.
So, yeah, the fact this is just like, you can't even see the leaderboard until you somewhat mastered it. Like, yeah, good. Because it's just going to put me off and just make me go, well, I'm never going to be as good as those people. Like, whereas...
Yeah, it's a really clever design decision. At first I was like... It's a bit weird. Now I can't see a leaderboard until we get to a certain area. But yeah, basically what you said is exactly it. And that makes it such a clever design decision.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I will say this about this game. The only other complaint I've got is I do wish this was on the PlayStation or the Xbox.
Really? Just because
the main reason being when you get used to instant loading times.
Yeah, this does drag a little, doesn't it?
Especially with
just the slightest hitch.
Yeah, especially with the frequent restarts, like...
Yeah. So I think if this had come out before we've got used to SSDs in consoles, right, we'd be like, wow, it's great how quick it is. Get straight back into the game again. Whereas, like, now that we've seen bang straight back into the game again using these fast SSDs, you play this and you're like, fuck. Well,
I mean, even things like, pre-SSDs, or pre-SSDs in consoles anyway, games like, Celeste or... Super Meat Boy or Super Hexagon or games like that where it was like the restarts were instant, and that was a big part of why those difficult games were bearable, because it does really help, like when you don't have any of that loss of momentum.
It hasn't put me off. It's quick enough to not put me off, but at the same time it is noticeable. Yeah. It's weird now, isn't it?
I've only played this handheld as well. I haven't played this with like a proper controller. I've only played it with the Joy-Cons.
No wonder you're struggling.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm struggling.
James, I know it looks like shit, but I promise a Split Pad Pro is the answer. You will love it. The amount of time you play your Switch handheld, mate, you'll have such a good time with it.
Is there anyone from Horry listening? Can you send him a Split Pad Pro?
James doesn't get a free one after he's been slagging it off for the last 3 years.
But think about how good would that be for advertising for that thing?
That's true.
If they send him one and he comes back and goes, no, they are fucking amazing, actually.
Oh, we could get him to do like a really weird, awkward advert where he's like, for years I criticised the Hori Split Pad Pro, but now that I've tried it for myself, I have to say it is a fantastic controller.
I still do not quite agree with the design
aesthetically,
decision.
I think it looks appalling.
It is
despite its
horrendous
aesthetic drawbacks. It is the professional choice.
I'm going to contact him because I want to do that. I like the first half's black and white, and James is like struggling to get good times in neon white, and then it's all like really bloomy colours and outdoor jumping in the grass. And
we can turn these golds into platinums. With this.
Yeah. But Daddy, now the Switch looks like shit. Don't worry about it, son. Shaved off half a thing.
Don't worry about it. I'm still 17th on the leaderboard.
Look, Neon White is going to go. It's already on my Game of the Year list, probably. It's that good. I absolutely adore. I love it so much. I'm really, really enjoying it. I've never played a game like this before. Whenever there's a game that has levels that you go through that are relatively easy to complete, and then you're supposed to go back and perfect them, I've always gone right the way through to the end, then maybe gone back and played some game. I've not done that on this. Played the first one, like the first batch of levels, got to the end of those, then went and at least platinumed, or whatever they call. What they call them in this?
Can't
What's
remember.
the phrase they use instead of platinum in this?
Is it ace or something?
Aced it, yeah, something like that. So I went and then aced every single level, and then went and found the present in every single level. Then spent those
David,
presents.
I'll say this now. For you, there's no point getting a present. So presents are really only to do all the conversation stuff.
You need to play more because that's not true.
Is that not the case?
No, that is not the case.
I'm basically using mine to and talk to characters to get side missions, etc.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, side missions. Side missions are one of the best things about this
depending
game.
how much you give. Side missions, dialogue, something else. There's 5 levels.
It's a tier system. So all you're doing is that for every single character, the first present you give them, they give you some dialogue. Second present you give them, they give you a side quest. The side quest is a
I mentioned that last week. Yeah,
it's a really hard. Yeah, but then you've just said there's no point in collecting presents.
Well, yeah, I forgot what the other stuff is.
The side quests are fantastic. They're really focused. Very difficult levels, usually based around one mechanic rather than several. So some of them are just where you move. Some of them you are fully focused on the bomb mechanic or whatever. And they're just really good fun. Really good fun, really challenging. I was also found this. I don't know what you think. You guys think. The challenge behind this game, I'm finding now. I'm still quite early on. I've aced the first 4 batches of levels, right? And I'm assuming there's 10 because the idea is that
it's like 10 days
every day. Yeah. Now some of I've already got to a batch of levels where it's like 3 levels. Yeah. So it's not always like 10 levels or whatever it is. It does have short ones, but I'm finding the difficulty so far incredibly perfect. Yeah. You know, there's at no point am I playing a level and going, I'm never going to get through this. I'm always getting to, like, for example, you know how Trials, you play Trials, HD or whatever. You start off and you go, this is fun trying to get them, and then you get to the point where it's like, I am just struggling to get through this level. I just need to get to the end of this level and it's too hard, I'm stuck. I'm hoping it doesn't get to that point, because so far it feels like the perfect balance of, you can get to the end of it, and also you can get some pretty good times on it as well if you try it out several times and find maybe a little shortcut. I
like the fact that actually on the first few goes, I'm like, I'm never gonna shave 25 seconds of this, and then eventually you just do a bit of exploring, and you can. I mean, for me, like trying to find the prizes in each of the levels has been a little bit frustrating, because you'll burn through a few times, then you're like, okay, now I'm going to focus on trying to get to often the highest point in the map, and that's often where the prize or present is. But then sometimes you get to a point where it says you have to restart because you can't move anywhere now. And I know there's probably no way of them getting around that, because obviously you have like a finite number of abilities and cards and whatnot, but sometimes I want to explore a little bit more to really find out what the optimum route is. But the only way to do that really is to start and restart. And then
and like repeatedly pull off like a certain section just to get to it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, to get to a certain bit, to stop, to fail, to
levels
redo it again.
Levels that are no longer than, say, 14 seconds long, though.
True.
So I don't find it that much
length of the level. More like, okay, if I need to get across, like, say, 2/3 of the map, and then I need to get up 2 or 3 flights of a certain building, I can get to that 2/3 bit. Now I'm looking around, I know because I fucked that one card, I've got to do that whole thing. I mean, there's no way around it. That's just the type of game it is. But because it's trying to mix both fast, frenetic gameplay with a finite number of abilities and linking them in a certain way to get to the end in a fast way, but then also me stopping and trying to explore the environment to get to a prize. So I get it. It's just that's been like, okay, better restart.
Yeah, I just haven't found that irritating, I guess. I kind of, it's not really bothered me, that stuff. I
find it fascinating that, like, because obviously it is, trying to do the levels as fast as possible is sort of like 30% like a puzzle game.
Yes.
But then when you're trying to get those hidden gifts, that's when like you really can just sort of stop and look around and sort of try and figure it out. And it's not like puzzle mode, but it takes that 30% to like 70%. Do you know what I mean? It sort of just shifts the balance.
Yeah, it's like a completely different type of puzzle, which I really appreciate.
Because not only that, it's saying, what can you do when you stack up? Like, so obviously on a normal, when you're doing a speed run of a level, you have to kill every demon within that level to open the end of the goal, right? Whereas if you're looking for the present, you have to kill any of them. So you're going, how can I collect cards and use them to make getting the presents even easier? Because what's the point in killing the demons if I don't need to? So that brings that side of things into it. And then all of a sudden, that thing that looks well out of reach when you've got 3 bombs and 2 jumps like on your backed up, then just what a game.
And just the fact that like some of those movement abilities, like there is a double jump, I think there's a dash as well. But then as you say, it's like the bombs where it's like, you kind of shoot a bomb that sticks to walls, and then you can use that to sort of propel yourself upwards, and how that's like interesting and different to like compared to a double jump or whatever. It's just really smart.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'll be the first to admit, and I'm sure someone would have noticed, but I've been in a real gaming slump recently, like really struggling to get into things, really not having the sort of motivation to go and play something. Even that Card Shark, which I was really enjoying, I sort of just fell by the wayside because
I weirdly don't have the energy for it, even though it's clearly great. It's a weird one, isn't it?
There was a bunch of games that sort of fell into that for me. At the moment I played this, it was the first time in ages where I was like, I do not want to play. I had to force myself to turn it off for a bit. It's like that Lumines effect. I'm like, I need to physically stop myself loading up a new 45-minute game. Whereas this, I need to physically stop myself from just like playing it forever. Yeah. Like, I know I've aced this level, but if I try this, all that stuff I think is essential. If you've got a Switch, it's hard to play on those little Joy-Cons. But if you've got a Switch with either a Hori Split Pro,
why are you laughing? It's
brilliant.
It's really good.
I just because I'm thinking of James when I say it. Or you're playing it on a big telly with a Pro controller, then I can't recommend it. Like, it's essential.
Yeah,
I think it's an absolute banger.
And if you've seen videos of it and you're like, it looks like a speedrunning game, is that not really stressful and difficult? I mean, difficult at times. Yes, but I haven't found it stressful yet. And as
Joe
I say,
turned around and said, "Why?" Joe said to me the other night when I was playing it, "Why are you being so horrible to yourself?" Because I was just going, "Fuck off, David!" Like when I was doing something stupid. You fucking idiot.
I mean, it's a valid question.
Why are you just being nasty?
It's a valid question. You shouldn't self-criticise like that. It's a bad habit. I do it as well, to be clear. I'm not preaching. I
know what you mean, David, about...
I do as well. I am also a cunt, but don't self-criticise. It's just...
Sorry, that irony of you just saying that just hit me. God.
Sorry, James.
No, I was going to say. I was
going
to say it's. I know what you mean because I've been going through a similar sort of thing where I finished Cyberpunk and then I've just been struggling to really get the energy to play something else. Really, I mean that's why. Like I played like Sifu and it was felt quite good as well because it's quite short. It's quite to the point and everything. But then this is the thing that also it totally dragged me in because. Each round is so like short as well.
Yeah,
it
helps.
It's
a good podcast game as well. Like if you're not engaging with the story stuff, you're just chasing faster times or whatever. Really nice game to have a podcast on while you do it. This is just reminding me. It was in our Twitter DM, so we've not caught it. I've not put it in the doc, but someone did messages saying like, what have been your video game palate cleansers? And I always find it's like an action game, like usually one with very little story. Like rather than something massive and rich, it's always something sort of on the surface, sort of quite simple and energetic and
I've always liked walking simulators for that.
Oh really?
Just a nice 4 to 5 hour walking simulator. Really sort of just I'll always float to games like that. Like what's the one where you go and there's the curse on the family.
Oh, What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh, God, that's so good.
Probably my favourite.
Recently
actually.
covered on
that's
Rinse. It's
that's
a great
my
podcast.
Favourite, I will check that out. Who's on it, though? Is that Garrity on it?
God, off the top of my head, who was on it? I can't remember.
Won't bother. I'm joking.
But yeah, it's what I love about What Remains of Edith Finch is that like it kind of came out and everyone was like, "Oh, this is like the best one of these," and then they kind of stopped coming out.
Yeah,
it was like the universe knew. Like everyone's like, "Oh, don't make any more. They're making the best one now, and now we don't need to do any more." But yeah.
So the other game I've been playing this week is Super Metroid.
What?
Because we were talking about retro handhelds, Sean, a couple of weeks ago, and I picked up a Miu Mini version 2. It's fucking great, man. And it goes to show you, right, the Anbernic RG552, which is the console that I had before, way more powerful, way bigger screen, can handle way more games, you know. And I played it and I thought, this is brilliant. But it sort of, again, it went into a drawer and then I didn't play it that much. This thing, it just goes to show you how important the software is. See, the problem I have with the Anbernic RG552 is two things. Firstly, the battery life. Because it's such a chunk, it's got so much in there, the battery lasts about 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah. And also, getting in and out of games, it's like, it feels like you're not having an experience with the console. It's like, so to get out of a game, you've got to hold the function button and B, and then it brings you up to a menu, to the RetroArch menu. Then you've got to close that, and then you're back in the menu and you can pick your next game. And then it loads it up from the start, and then you've got to go into RetroArch again, and if you've got a save state, you've got to load that up. Well, this has got custom firmware on. It doesn't come built into the thing, but you download, like, someone else has made but basically an OS for it, and you install it onto your Miu Mini. And from then on, if you're playing a game and you turn the console off, the console auto saves that game at that point, and then when you turn it back on, it goes straight to that game and loads that auto save for you. So it's like what you said. It's like having a cartridge in a Game Boy at all times with just one game in it, but that game, like, it just automatically goes to that last point you were playing, like a Switch, right? Yeah. But not only does it do that, it does that for like up to 10 games. That's cool. You turn the console on, and you've got the game that you last played. You press the home button, and it sort of pulls out a little bit, and you can just go left or right, and it shows you like an image of where you were last playing. Genuinely more impressive than even quick resume. Because like when you're playing on the Xbox, I go to a game and then it comes up with a splash screen and then quick resume and then it loads in. Imagine that if you were to press the Xbox button and then go left and right, and it would show you exactly where you were last at in that game. And when you select that game, it then just loads to that point again. It's nuts. And because of that, I find myself just picking it up all the time, because I'll press the on button and within 3 seconds I'm back at that point of the game again. And I hadn't had to think about it, didn't have to create a save option, and it thinks of everything, right? So say someone comes over and wants to try it out, but I don't want them to A, fuck up my recently played games, or B, fuck up any of my saves or anything. There's like a guest mode on it. And you could just switch it to guest mode and go, there you go.
Amazing.
Fuck around with it as much as you want, because when you're finished, turn guest mode off, it forgets everything that happened in guest mode and switches back to what you had before.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, like, so, like, you know, the Metroid, the one I have, sounds kind of like halfway between your two, right? Like, it's not as slick as the Miu Mini, but it's not as bad as the RG552. But you kind of wonder, like, people making these devices just sort of think, well, the only people buying these are going to be massive nerds, right? So they'll be happy to contend with, you know, like, difficulties.
Installing their own OSs
they'll
shit,
be happy to do that. Whereas it sounds like this OS for the Miu Mini is like, yes, but what if Nintendo made one of these? Do you know what I mean? Or, you know.
Oh my God, forget about it.
Like,
forget about it. It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
How good would that be? Also, everything. Here's the other thing as well, Sean. The screen is obviously better in the RG552, and we'll show you. I'll show you next time. See ya.
When's that going to be, Dave?
The form. It's Saturday. The form Friday. The form factor of the thing is most of the games that I'm playing, SNES, Mega Drive, whatever. The form factor of the screen is perfect for the games that you're playing, whereas on that, it's a widescreen one. So you have to, again, load it in, put it in the right aspect ratio or whatever, if you don't want it to be, like, stretched. And it just makes so much sense to just have this little square, really portable thing that can, God knows how many hours battery life I'm getting out of it, but just doesn't seem to drop battery that much at all. And just, all right, if you play it for like more than, say, 45 minutes, it's quite, because it's so tiny, it's kind of, your thumbs do cramp up a little bit. But it's really not, you're not going to be playing it for more than 45 minutes, It's not that sort of thing that you do. You play these games in sort of short bursts. It's so bloody good. I love it.
And because you got yours,
I love it.
You got yours from within the UK, didn't you? So it was a bit. So it's,
That's
I mean, if you're happy to wait for it to come from China, it's like 50 quid. You paid what, 65, something like that?
Yeah, 65.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? It's all right.
Yeah.
It's an acceptable
I will say this though.
Markup. Go on.
I'm enjoying Super Metroid.
Oh yeah.
Right. I am genuinely enjoying it. Actually, it's really good. The worst wall jump I've ever experienced in a video game.
Yeah, the wall jump is not great.
Pretty fussy.
And also, there's another one coming which is worse than the wall jump. I don't know if you've got to it yet.
Yeah, I got ripped into for me slagging it off.
There's the
No, yeah, but you said the controls are shit. I don't think the controls are shit.
Well, it's for these kind of rather technical jumps. I was like, this just...
Okay. What's the other one?
So it's the one where you kind of like run and then you kind of like shoot upwards. It's
really
irritating.
No, I've not done that yet. See, they had that in Dread, didn't they?
Yeah, but it's more annoying in Super Metroid.
Yeah, but you didn't have to think about it in Dread. It was just...
I mean, to be fair, you barely have to do it in Super.
Yeah, you only have to do it about 2 or 3 times, but it's still annoying.
Yeah.
I'll get there. But I've just really been enjoying playing that and then flipping over and playing a little bit of Link to the Past every now and then. It's I'm absolutely loving this little thing. Very naughty, but really really enjoying using it.
Well, sometimes
that's the difference.
It helps, doesn't it, Dave?
Yeah,
it's the little extra bit of spice,
isn't it? 50 to 60 quid compared to the £300 for it. It's mad.
I was going to say, the fact you're enjoying this device far, far cheaper than the more expensive one, but just like the smaller touches about switching instantly in guest mode, that kind of makes all the difference.
It's like you say, that accessibility of it is just, it's massive, because when you are playing older games, it's usually, like you say, it's stuff you want to dip in and out of. You're not going to load it up and be like, right, I'm going to play 4 hours of Metroid tonight. Like, it's, so yeah, just having it as like I said, like with the Analog Pocket, it's like, to me, it's like having like a little paperback that I'm slowly working my way through bit by bit. Do you know what I mean? It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be playing Guitar Man on this, which was amazing to do again. but like the same, the out of the, it's like a balance thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you never know, one day someone would go and just go, oh, here's this new incredible OS for the RG552. And then by that point, it's like, oh shit, okay, right, well, this pisses all over this little thing now. But we're not there yet. An interesting world to dip into.
Yeah, really is.
There's a big old community around them, isn't there? It's mad. Okay, so that was that. That's all I've been playing. No, it isn't. But
no, it isn't. No.
Should we talk about Fall Guys?
I mean, briefly, is there a lot
we all played this,
to say about it?
We had a really good night on it, didn't we?
Yeah, we all played together.
And I've been playing like a bit on and off, like with Isaac, because he loves watching it, and occasionally playing it. He never gets through the first round, but he has a good time, so he gives a shit. Which kind of sums up...
Yeah, I've been playing offline as well.
Yeah, it kind of sums up why this game is good still, right? Because it's just like, yeah, you might win, you might not. Who actually gives a fuck? It doesn't really...
Yeah, it really doesn't matter, does it? It's so fun to play.
It's definitely like come a long way since, so obviously I played it on PS4 when it first came out and like enjoyed it well enough, but we kind of said at the time like, but what's the plan for this long term? Where's it going? How are they going to maintain it? And what is it like? 2 years on now? Clearly they've maintained it, and it has only grown and grown, especially now that it's free to play. I mean, it just feels better now. Like, obviously, it was never a game about.
But they got Epic behind it, haven't they?
Obviously, it was never a game about like precision, but I certainly feel more in control of it than I used to on the PS4. I don't know. What they've changed sort of under the hood to make it feel better, but it does. obviously runs better as well. Looks great on the Series S. I mean, in terms of like the number of events and like the styles of them, I guess I thought I was going to return to it now and be like, oh my god, this is full of stuff I don't even recognize. And like there is quite a lot. I've not felt like I'm seeing stuff that I remember and being like, oh right, this is still in it. Do you know what I mean?
I'm seeing stuff I remember, but in most games I'm also seeing one I haven't seen before. Well, not most games now, but certainly when I played a bunch over the weekend with Elodie.
Well, I think honestly, I think they've got.
Okay.
I think they've hidden some of the more complex ones.
Okay.
I wonder if that's because of player base or whatever.
Maybe.
Probably not. But there's ones where like there's less of the ones where maybe it is player base, keeping it simple. Now that they know that they've got lots of new people joining,
maybe because I mean there's different way more
complicated ones.
Yeah, there's like 5 different ones, and I selected. You can like determine where you matchmake which one of those you want in the rotation. So you can obviously do like singles, or you can do duos and squads. And if you're playing on your own, you just join a duo or a squad. And then there's like some other more like time limited events. They got one at the moment. I can't remember what it's called, but there's one with certain types of levels. There's one now where it's just races as well. But when I was playing the weekend, I had them all selected into the playlist, and I was getting loads more variation in, where like one round could be, like one life would be, okay, I'm in duos, now I'm in a squad, now I'm back on my own. These were races, which I think is really great to kind of keep it interesting.
I think, there's ones where you have to like set up platforms and move platforms around the level in order to get over like high walls.
Okay.
And they seem to have not put that into rotation. I think that's probably the right thing to do if you get the big
I was never a huge
influx
fan
of
of
new
those
players.
ones.
Did you do those ones then?
Yeah, I did. They must have been in when I stopped playing, whenever that was over the first month or two.
You played it when the knights and stuff were added?
I don't know, but I remember playing one where we had to like grab these, what looks like inflatable kind of triangular platforms to get over levels, and I wasn't a huge fan, but I stopped after that. Maybe I went back briefly, I don't know, but I remember playing that, not massively enjoying it, and then I just stopped completely. But they are in the game now, yeah?
That's what I'm saying. I think maybe that they're not currently because they know they're a little bit more complicated. I don't know.
Yeah, because I haven't seen a single one of them.
Who knows? But it's just such a fun fucking game, and a bunch of our friends have been playing it, and we find it better. The squads, we've done squads a few times, which is 4 players, James, believe it or not.
I know, it's one of the best things about it. It's great.
Yeah. We're finding doing solo better because it's just quite a chill experience where if you get knocked out early, it's nice to just sit back and watch your mates try and compete. And check while checking your phone and stuff. Whereas if you get through to the final, you know that you've got 3 of your mates sitting there going, oh, go on then. Oh. Like the pressure is like tripled. It's so funny. Great game. It's absolutely
it's awesome. And like I said, so obviously, Dave, you played it way more. I think out of all of us, really, you carried on playing. I played and loved it for the first month. I don't know, maybe a month, and then or maybe 2 or 3 weeks and stopped. But coming back to it with this new content has been great. And after playing with you lot on whenever it was the first day it launched, Elodie and I played a bunch over the weekend as well. We're like taking it in turns. She got through like the first round. I was super proud, and it's just like she was a bit more like
dig at you there, Sean. Did you hear
that? You can hardly compare. Elodie's like 8.
I was so proud.
Well, yeah.
How did your kid get on, Sean?
I didn't expect her to get through it.
I could talk about Asher finishing 4th, but
but you won't, because you're a classy guy.
I'm not going to do that.
I mean, Elodie was more interested in like kind of the accessories you can get, and like, we got flip flops. We can change into flip flops, which I thought was quite cool. I haven't ponied up for any like the kind of.
I have got a problem with that. I have got a problem with that.
Go on.
So there seems to be no way that I can. What I want to do is log into Epic, and for them to acknowledge you've probably got a bunch of Epic accounts, right? So log into one. You log into one, and I want them to go, just put your Xbox, your PlayStation, whatever. We'll just collect all of your Epic accounts and make sure they're tied together in some way. Just make it simple for me, because I've got nothing on Xbox. And then in the week, I loaded it up on the PlayStation 5, and it was like, right, because you've played this so much, here's the Battle Pass thing for free. here's like, we've converted everything to your purple coins. Oh, I've got 150 purple coins on Xbox. How much have I got on here? 117,000. Okay, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? All of my costumes and everything.
So, are you not logged into the same Epic account on PlayStation?
No.
See, I'll tell you what's annoying is Asher got the season pass. Like, he got that and a load of other stuff because he played it on PS4, and it was the same Epic account that he then used on Switch, like when he played it. I also played it on PS4, but I hadn't played it on PS4 since the update or whatever, so I didn't get any of that stuff.
You're not a real fan.
Same here. I play on PS4, and when I now playing on PS5, I guess I didn't log in at a certain time or whatever, so now I'm just starting afresh.
Bit annoying, really, because then I logged in on PS5, and it was just like, you got nothing.
I had loads, I had so much, and for some reason I just can't seem to be able to link them all together. It's doing my nutting.
It is doable because I think I said to you in WhatsApp.
But then you have to
when I tried
to
sort out Fortnite cross-platform, I was like, okay, changing the primary and secondary email addresses, unlinking accounts on one, linking them on the other one.
Yeah,
it is doable. It's just it's going to be a nightmare. But
make it simple. Just acknowledge the fact that people probably fucking accidentally ended up with like about 8.
But the weird thing is, though, is that at one point you could merge accounts. So I think just when the Fortnite cross-platform thing came into effect, they knew people had multiple accounts and you could merge them. But now it feels like they've removed that functionality. So, bit weird. But
almost definitely to stop people hacking into other people's accounts and then merging them all into one big super account. But there you go.
James, how is the Switch version? I've only played it on Xbox.
Well, this is what I said. When I first downloaded it, it was awful. Like, honestly, like it was really. It was just really slow, and it was taking ages. Everybody was having trouble finding games like when it first launched because there was a lot of server issues. But it was taking particularly longer on Switch. But also, it was just there was a lot of lag, and it just looked awful. But then they patched it about 2 days ago, and it now it doesn't look as good, obviously, as like a Series S game or Xbox or whatever like that. But it looks decent now, and it also runs pretty smoothly, and. It's like playing a new game almost. It's incredible what this patch has done. It's brilliant.
Nice.
And and it's a nice way to play the game, honestly, because you're not really that bothered. If you're just playing solos or whatever, you don't really care about voice chat and stuff. So it's just you could just things load up reasonably quickly, and it's just good. Yeah, Ash has been playing it all week. He's loving it.
Cool.
All right, it's good to have Fall Guys back in my life. You've got one more game written down here, Sean.
One more game. I'll be brief because this is just based off a demo, so this is just kind of a one-to-watch thing. This is Tinykin, and this was on the... I think it's gone now, but this was part of the Idea Xbox Summer Game Fest demo thing, and where there was like 30 odd game demos you could download, which really annoying. I read a couple of things like news pieces about it, and they're like, just head to the store on your Xbox and you'll find them. I fucking couldn't. I had to just search for the games individually. Really annoying. So I didn't get to play many of these, but Tinykin was one of the ones I did, and it's really fucking good. It's I barely followed what the plot was, but long story short, you're a little guy, you're like 2 inches tall, and you've been transported to like a house in the 90s, like the early 90s, and there's no people around, just a load of insects that have kind of taken over the house and sort of built themselves little places to live and stuff, and they kind of just sort of hang out. And so basically it's like an N64 era platformer. Running, jumping around, you have like a glide ability. You have a little bar of soap which acts as like a little skateboard. There's like strands of like spider silk that you can grind around on, and like that's all great. But then it's also a bit Pikmin. You find these little creatures that you can carry around, and you can throw them at things. Some of them are good at carrying stuff or knocking stuff out of the way. Some like explode on impact, so they're good for like destroying certain obstacles or what have you. And then later on, there's others that you can use to sort of like build ladders and stuff like that. But what's really cool is like just because it feels like an N64 era platformer, it's like those little creatures are like the collectibles, right? Like they're enjoyable enough to find in and of themselves. They're often, kind of tucked away, or they're on a platform that's like not initially clear how you get to it, and there's like a bit of figuring out how to reach them. And like it's quite satisfying just to run around picking them up. And then also it's like, oh, and these are now the tool I use to do other stuff within the level. Like they become like a useful resource. Like, similar to Pikmin, like so if there's like a certain object you need to shift, it'll tell you like, right, well, you need 30 of the little pink guys because they're the ones who carry stuff. It's just really enjoyable. As I say, I think it's out in October. So I'll be banging on about it again then, I imagine. But yeah, I had a really nice time with it.
I have downloaded the demo as you asked me to.
It must have got delayed because I'm watching a trailer here. It says it comes out on August 30th.
Oh.
Well, unless that's maybe the...
Cool. No, fine. That's good. Maybe I'm just wrong.
But it looks lovely. I love the fact it's kind of like, obviously a fully 3D environment with the characters being 2D.
Yeah, like really beautiful, like 2D sprites.
It looks lovely, yeah.
So, Dave, you said you downloaded the demo?
Yes, sir. Cool. You asked me to, right?
I did, but I might not let you play it anymore because I think they all expired today or yesterday.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, try it anyway.
Sorry.
I think I really like it. But
I didn't have the time. I didn't have the time this week, but shame. But I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Tinykin. Right, should we do a couple of questions?
Let's do a couple of questions. My voice is going, and a little bit worried now. A little bit worried, baby.
Lemon and hot water.
I was going to say how to send us questions, but I won't, because if you want to ask us a question for the next episode, you need to come down.
Yeah, come fucking
Meltdown,
see us
Sheffield, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Kurt Lewin says, hi, chaps.
One ticket left.
Kurt Lewin says, hi, chaps. I've just returned from a holiday in Orlando Disney, and whilst I couldn't get my head around why we don't see any gaming franchises in theme parks. As far as I know, we've only seen the Nintendo enter the theme park realm. A whole theme park based around gaming properties might be too much, but why haven't we seen any themed areas like the Harry Potter and Jurassic Park areas of Universal Studios when we're always told that video games make more money than films? I think a whole area themed around Sony first party would be great and also do well, or a Halo ride maybe. After all, if Jimmy Fallon can get his own ride, which would only appeal to the US audience, then surely there's room for an Uncharted Mine Train coaster. So my two questions are, why don't you think we've seen other gaming companies get involved with theme parks? And secondly, what games do you think would make great rides and what form would they take? That's
really
a good point.
Question.
I would like to know why that's... because there must be some sort of barrier there for it to have not happened.
Okay.
Well, you've got... Sorry.
Okay.
No, I was going to say, you've got like Sega, like they have all their like theme park, like they're not theme parks, but they have all their arcades and all that kind of stuff.
That's different though.
Which are like experiences.
Yeah, that's not the same thing.
There's no rides.
No, but it's still an experience though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that you're going through.
You could still do a Sega theme park, and and some people would go mental for it. That's what I mean. Like, I mean, fucking hell, yeah, like a Sonic roller coaster. Surely that's just money waiting to be made.
Matt would be absolutely like off his face in excitement, but just not go.
Yeah.
No, I think you're definitely right. 100% right there.
I would say, here's my thing. You look at a family together, and this is a very generic point. I think there's more chance of everyone in that family being into a film than everyone in that family being into a game. Is that okay?
Yeah,
is that right?
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I see what you mean, because the odds of like both parents or all kids being into not even the same games, but games in general, it's still less slim. More slim than the odds of we've all seen.
Everyone been into a film.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's it. But then who knows? If Nintendo World really takes off, then, which it looks like it is, then maybe this is the fat cats are sitting there going, what? They like the video games, and then we're going to suddenly see loads of them. You'll see a Space Harrier ride.
Harrier.
But I think Kurt's totally right. I mean, like mentioning Uncharted, there are so many set pieces in the Uncharted movie, in the Uncharted games. We've had the Uncharted movie as well. You know, that's kind of primed for larger kind of even more mainstream
would the
stuff that
ride
I
be,
think
Matt?
could work. What ride?
What would the ride be?
I think it's something involving a train where it's like a roller coaster, but it goes up vertically. You know, like the bit in like Uncharted 2 where he's hanging from the train, or maybe it's one of those rides where there's one in Alton Towers where it made it. There's like a big tree in the middle, and it was telling the history of the park, and it made it feel like you were going upside down, even though it wasn't. It was like the seats you were in were turning a certain way, and then the room was spinning as well. And I think they could do that maybe with like a train hanging. I think there's loads of potential. I think because there's so many set pieces in the Uncharted games.
Just ignored you.
Yeah, it did.
I don't know. Uncharted. That's such a lame. You'd want something a little bit more colourful and exciting than Uncharted.
You would, wouldn't you?
Right?
Because it's like when they do like it's a Tomb Raider ride or whatever like that.
Yeah, it might
and
as well be Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd want something a little bit more unique.
I think,
Pac-Man.
Sean, you were absolutely right
running away.
about Sonic. Like just like a Sonic roller coaster.
Yeah, man.
Why has that not happened?
It goes upside down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Sega haven't even got arcades in Japan anymore. They're probably not going to be like, let's do a massive art.
All right, mate, but this is a fantasy. We're not talking logistics about finances here, is it? We're having a bit of fun.
Nah, let's look at the business case here. I mean, I think if we're thinking fancy, let's just do a Last of Us 2 theme park where it's just horrendous.
I've made this reference before, but what was the game where it was theme park, wasn't it? Where you had to negotiate by pulling your hand forward and backwards.
I used to love theme park.
Great
love
bit
it.
of design.
That was good.
You made like the chips too salty or this and that. Oh yeah, man, I sunk a lot of hours into that game.
Can you imagine if we had The Witness theme park? And there'd be like a certain number of people absolutely loving it, and then most people just being like, "What the fuck? It's just fucking lines. What are we supposed to do? I don't get it." Just
But yeah, have like kind of environmental puzzles in real life would be amazing.
Escape rooms.
There'd be like a sign.
Yes.
Yeah. There'd be a sign as you're walking out saying, "Thank you for riding The Witness. I suppose you didn't get it. Fuck you, Jonathan
enjoy
Blow."
your shooters. Fucking.
Yeah, enjoy your shooty bang bang rides.
Okay,
Here's
I've got an idea.
Ride where you go like through the worm thing, the space worm thing.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Was
it
it
a giant worm? Controversially.
Yeah. You go through that and then you burst through the skin.
Yeah.
How about a pin? It's kind of like a mixture between a theme park and Go Ape, but it's like Shadow of the Colossus.
You climb just a massive thing.
Stab it.
Yeah, there's like multiple different kind of Colossus or Colossi to climb, but there's like loads of different ways to do it, and there's also maybe something at the top,
and also they're moving.
Yeah, I reckon also they're moving. That would be fucking amazing. A moving Go Ape
so good.
with like Shadow Colossus.
I'm like maybe you wouldn't actually stab them, but there's like a button you have to smash.
Yeah. Or maybe like with enough you have to get to the top, press the buttons in a certain order, a certain time.
Yeah,
do that.
I'm sold. I'll be up for that.
FIFA ride.
Yep,
it's just like one of those 3G pictures.
I'm up for that as well.
Okay.
We'll move on. It's a good point though, Kurt. I would love to know, because surely people have been approached about this and like conversations have been had and I've presumably fallen through for some reason, and I'm curious.
Yeah, Mr. Alton Tower. If you're listening, get in touch, let us know.
Yeah, Mr. A Tower. Mr. Alan Turner. I think them conversations must have only increased since Nintendo Land, Nintendo World got talked about.
Well, like in volume.
Yeah.
I bet those people are like, hang on, maybe we should do something that's quick. Like, I bet in the next 5 years there will be a bunch of these popping up.
Well, they're probably waiting to see if it works or not first. To see if it's like if it is like a banger or not. Because
right, get me someone as popular as Nintendo. No, they've done the best one, I'm afraid.
I think Disney should open one.
That would work, yeah.
Those guys would make a lot of money out of
because a lot of people are saying like Nintendo's kind of like Disney gaming. Why don't Disney do something?
Do I think, Matt? I think Disney should hire you. Guess
I think they should too. They're idiots. They're leaving money on the table.
Right, next question. It's quite a long one, but I thought it was worth reading out, and they did apologise for it being long, which helps. It's from Pat Lowe. So I was really taken by a correspondent from a few weeks back who spoke about the impact of their shyness and confidence issues. I too have had to work very hard to combat shyness and social anxiety well into my 30s. Though I'm far less inhibited by this than I used to be, gaming provides a huge source of respite and sense of control when life, parenting, and just your run-of-the-mill social interactions can be unpredictable and exhausting to navigate. By the same token, you really shouldn't underestimate the comfort I have no doubt that you guys provide to so many. I've only listened to the pod for a few months, but already look forward to hearing you four chat about the stuff I love, but would never in a million years speak to the vast majority of my pals about. Lang may your lumreek, as they say up here in Scotland. Cammy's going to murder me for the way I pronounce that. I do have a semi-related question, though. Of the games I've recently played through, both Ghostwire Tokyo and Lake, and to a certain extent The Gunk, stick out despite being very, very different games. By any reasonable judgment, these are all kind of boring and hugely flawed games, yet I could not get enough of their nigh on empty worlds and repetitive mechanics. I put about 35 hours into Ghostwire, wandering around a deserted Tokyo, talking to the odd dog, freeing the odd spirit, fighting demons when need be, but let's be honest, not a huge amount really happens, and I often feel an itch to go back to the lush surroundings of Lake for a wee peaceful drive, delivering the odd parcel, but for the most part just zoning out and fantasising about a life away from the hustle and bustle. Perhaps this ties in with that need for a shy person to escape into an environment free of the noise and stress it's hard to avoid in the real world. But regardless of COD psychology, I wondered whether you have a game you can recognise almost objectively is really not very good at all, but there's something about it you love and always yearn to return to for whatever reason.
It's not that it's not a good game, but the only game that I can sort of that sort of filled that gap was the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
Like a lot of I had to 100% them because I don't know. I think that's your brain just saying, just be comfortable for a bit.
Yeah, I want some control on something, and
don't
this feels
worry
good.
about it. Look, it's not challenging anymore. You're fully upgraded. Don't worry about it. Just go and tick everything
it's
off.
It's like a reluctance to unplug from something that just makes you feel all right for a bit, isn't it? It's like, well, not ready to leave that world just yet, even though, the story's wrapped up and everything. It's it's a weird sensation.
Well, like, there's part of me thinking, get this new PlayStation Plus thing, so you can just go on 100% Miles Morales again. That's what my brain's doing at the moment.
See, I still get that sometimes with open world games. When you're just like, well, you are checking things off the map, but it's still, I mean, I had that with Horizon Forbidden West. I played that for quite a long time, and to the point where I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing with this, but I'm still kind of enjoying just being in this, I guess, and not having to think about anything.
It does tend to be open world games, doesn't it? Which in one sense, I guess is obvious because you're not being pushed anywhere. But like, I guess, I think, Mad Max, which, I mean, I did really rate, but obviously it's like technically a 7 or 8 out of 10 at best. But I did fucking everything in that game. And again, it was just, just liked being there. Found, all those little tasks like satisfying to tick off. And
James, do you remember when I was like totally obsessed with that terrible mobile version of FIFA?
yeah, I do. Yeah.
And I played it until like the season 2036 or something. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, most of my players were dead because they were all in their 80s. It's just so stupid. But yeah, I got totally addicted to that. And you go, why are you playing it?
It's terrible.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I just can't stop.
Yeah, I know I got ripped into, but I love Lake for that exact reason.
I can see that.
It was totally like I said, a time felt like a 80s or 90s Sunday kind of movie where you like to turn your brain off and kind of get involved in the world, and you forget about the real world for 2 hours. I loved it for that reason. I know it wasn't the greatest game of all time and whatnot, but I really enjoyed it. It was just such a different vibe as well from a lot of games I played recently, and I really enjoyed kind of Meredith's story. But yeah, there's been other mobile games. Like, I mean, that's probably why I played so much Fire Emblem Heroes, I think, at the time, because it was just easy and I just turned my brain off and I was just on the conveyor belt ticking challenges off and yada yada yada. It's good to do that sometimes, I think.
It's funny, like, I've spoken before about the ongoing movement for like wholesome / cozy games, and I feel like I don't know, like to me there's no rhyme or reason as to what I will find cozy or wholesome in, like because for me Mad Max was one of them. I think when I finally got into Yakuza 0 as well, that was another one, in that it just felt
two famously cozy
this
games.
Is it, right? And but a game where I'm managing a cat cafe, I'm all right, thanks. Which which is fine. Like those games should exist, but I feel like I can't be told what I will find cozy or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think cozy feels like a personal choice, or even like a subconscious choice, rather than this is a genre of cozy game as well. I think, as you just proved, Sean, it's not about genre; it's about game mechanics or the environment or the story or the characters that makes you feel cozy, regardless of. Well, some people probably find what was is that Hellsinger, that more recent kind of rhythm action like games like Doom with the like some people find that cozy, or Doom, or other games.
I totally had that with Doom 3. I had a messy breakup and I put Doom 3 on and I played like through all of that. Like,
not the only one.
Yeah, and it was great. Like it really sort of took my mind off the whole thing, and just sort of I found it very comfortable, to play, even though I'm like murdering loads of things. It was still
love the story about you. Not about the breakup.
Yeah.
And you had to unlock all the swimsuits in Dead or Alive or whatever.
Yeah, that was Dead. Yeah. was that Dead or Alive 4? I think it was Dead or Alive 4. Yeah.
Something like that.
Times.
I unlocked everything in that game. That was that's a bad weekend.
It's not easy to do. To do that now, you have to spend about $8,000.
Right, couple of relatively short ones. Maria Mendieta did TCGS comptrollers. Link has pink hair in his SNES outing. Donkey Kong was a pink opponent in Mario Tennis for the Game Boy Color, and Tomba wrestles pigs while sporting a neon pink coiffure. Unfortunately, amazing pink hair seems to have disappeared from most modern games. Who has the best hair in gaming today? Thank you for keeping natural.
Not Aloy.
No,
because that hair,
like
it was amazing.
Nuts.
It had a life of its own.
Yeah. God, who does have good hair in games these days?
Well, again, I think this is about personal choice, and when I hear best hair, not necessarily the style, but like the volume, I think Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
Oh, leave off.
No, they've got big hair, they've got a lot of it, volumes on point, and like some of the styles are obviously not something I would sport, but man, they've got some hair in that game, and arguably all the Final Fantasy games.
I mean, and obviously if we're going by personal style, I think Kratos is fucking nailing it.
Hell yeah.
Great look, great hairstyle.
Big respect to Kratos right now. Shout out to Kratos.
Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes. I mean, he's basically modelled on Johnny Knoxville, which makes sense. But yeah, good hairdo. Kazuma Kiryu as well. Same hairstyle over 2 decades, and it's fine. No one gives a shit. No, more than 2 decades, 4 decades.
The answer,
you don't change it if it's good. Styles in forever, whatever.
The answer's Phoenix Wright.
Ooh. That is a very good answer, actually.
Because it's iconic.
You're welcome.
It
is iconic, and it just looks fucking great. Look at that.
Because it's like when people cosplay Phoenix Wright, it's like, any fucker can wear a suit, but who's pulling off that hair? Exactly.
Not me.
Exactly, mate.
Only Phoenix.
I'm definitely not.
Google image search says Christian Bale. Maybe. Looks like they should cast Christian Bale in the movie.
They will.
Good hair.
Last one.
James hasn't answered.
I said that was a brilliant answer, Phoenix Wright.
You haven't offered your own answer, James.
I don't know.
I was hoping he'd got away with it, Dave.
I was hoping I got away with it.
I'd noticed that he hadn't.
Why'd you do this to me?
I panicked, right? Because I was thinking, I haven't got an answer. Boom, Phoenix Wright. Yeah, got away with it. James?
Dr. Kawashima.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, James, can you describe his haircut?
Yeah, it's big.
It's not big.
It's
without Googling.
It has got a small amount of volume. It's a quiet haircut.
He's got... Yeah, it's on point, and it's...
What do you mean? What do you even mean when you say that? It's on point.
Without Googling it, James, you could not describe his haircut.
James's brain going, what do people say about like style and fashion? I say it's on point. I'll never question that. That'll sound authentic.
Yeah. No cap. For real.
He's got
the hair's pure fussing.
He's got hair.
He's got regular hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's on point,
last question comes from Tom Doughty, and it's for James. He says, James, would you rather go on a camping holiday to Wales with Jeff Grubb, but you have to massage his back and swollen ankles after each day, or would you rather Jeff Keighley lives with you for a week, but you have to feed him cocktail sausages every single hour he's awake?
Wow.
Jeff Grubb, 100%.
Really?
Jeff Grubb to Wales. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I did wonder why Tom dangled Wales there, like whether, because I mean, Wales is a perfectly nice place to go camping. I don't know if he was suggesting that it's grim.
I'd be fine with that.
Bit out of order.
I'd be totally fine with that, and I think, with Grubb, I think that'd be fine.
Massage his back and ankles.
That. But I'd rather. I mean, imagine being with Keighley like the whole week.
Yeah, but what if? I'm not saying he does, but what if Jeff Grubb smells?
No, Jeff Grubb seems like a really nice dude.
Yeah,
but what if you got to massage his ankles?
Matt,
and what if he's been hiking up Snowdonia for the day, and then you got to
why are you slagging off Grubby?
No one's slagging off Grubb. It's a funny little thing. What's the matter with you?
Why are you slagging off my boy?
I'm not slagging him off. I'm just saying, if they're going camping in Wales, he might have gone hiking for the day, and then poor James has got to massage his swollen ankles. That's not going to be fun.
Yeah. It's swollen ankles that smell like shit.
I'd still prefer that over the enthusiasm of Jeff Keighley, honestly.
How would you feel about feeding Jeff Keighley cocktail sausages?
I can get
I
on
wouldn't
board
want to feed him the sausages.
I mean, it does specifically say feed, because when I first read this, I was like, well, you just give him a bowl of them and go, there you go, knock yourself out. But no, I don't think that's.
But do you know what, as well? I bet he'd lay down while I was doing it.
I would. He'd love it.
Yeah, on your lap.
And he'd just be like a little baby chick, just going like with his mouth.
And he'd be like sausage time.
James, he would expect you to eat the sausages and then vomit into his mouth.
James, come on.
You'd have to have like a baby monitor.
Manage expectations, James. Manage them.
You'd have to have a baby monitor on, and you'd just be like, James, I'm away.
Sausage time.
Sausage time.
And then you're putting a sausage into his mouth. He's like, yum, yum, yum.
I think we should put that bit at the start of the show. I think that'll really sell it to people.
Is Sausage Time the name of the show?
Jeff Keighley Sausage Time.
Jeff Keighley Sausage Time.
No, that's too long for the tweet.
Sausage Time. Sausage Time. We are done, Matt. Socials.
Oh yeah, so this Saturday we've got a little thing going on called TCGScon. Hopefully we get to see all of you there. Not all of you there.
So excited.
But a bunch of you there.
We've seen the venues. They look amazing. Man.
Yeah, I visited the venue this week for the last minute kind of, recce. It's been very exciting.
I just need my voice back. That's all I need, and I'll be happy.
Laser Quest is going to be incredible. I've never done it before, but seeing the setup there, I'm beyond excited to do Laser Quest. And then we've got a live show straight after that. But everyone going, there should be an email going out. There's loads of information as well. We've got Discord channels, everyone knows, but there's a live events channel where it's been loads of people chatting all week, asking questions about what's going to happen, meeting up, loads of people going on their own as well. So it's a good place to go if you haven't already been to Discord. Search, it's on our website, TCGS.co, and search a link for Discord, and loads of people over there. So if you're going on your own or you've got questions about it, go over there, and that's a great place to start. As we mentioned at the beginning, we've got Pride merch just on sale. It ends on Thursday, so go to the website to see what merch we've got on there to support mermaids. No streams this week because we're very busy with TCGScon prep, and then Friday, of course, we'll be in Sheffield to see what's going down. But if you want, you can connect your Amazon account with your Twitch account to have a Twitch Prime Gaming sub, and you get one free sub a month, and you can give it to any channel you want. So if you want to support us, what we're doing over here, go over to our channel and give us your free monthly sub. We're on Patreon. The bonus show's out. La TCGS Tournoi is out. Go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS if you want to support what we're doing and listen and watch them. And the website is tcgs.co for links to our Discord, which again I think is essential if you're on your way to TCGScon, socials, podcasts, store, TCGScon, the final ticket, and a bunch of other stuff. But we can't wait for the weekend, and hopefully we'll see a bunch of you there for TCGScon 2022
we
North.
Should say
this is it.
I guess because we're still sticking with Wednesday for the release of the next episode, right? But obviously the YouTube version will be, hopefully, fingers crossed, an actual video version. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, spend an entire evening watching that. It's better than anything on Disney Plus, I would say. It's an option.
If you there's a chance that things might not go right.
Yeah.
But if all goes well, next week you will hear us on stage at TCGScon.
No, I'm really excited.
I can't wait. Well, thank you for living it. We'll catch you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
What's that?